Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of the Dragonrana Podcast, a podcast where we take a look back at what some people are calling the greatest year of any wrestling organization in the history of the world, and we'll see if it really was just that great. My name is Kyle, and I'm here with my brother Justin. Say hi, Justin.
That's me. Hello.
All right, so we should probably talk a little bit about, what the hell this actually is. So, I don't know. Like I said in the intro, we're going to take a look back at the 2017 year of New Japan Pro Wrestling and see how good it actually was. There was so much good wrestling in 2017, especially coming from New Japan, and we'll see if some people are right when they call it the best year of any wrestling promotion ever. So that's what we got planned for this first arc, I suppose, and we're not sure what we're going to do after we complete it, if we'll continue following New Japan or jump over to another promotion another time.
Who knows if we even finish this arc?
Yeah, who knows if we even get there.
This one took us 3 weeks to do. So.
Yeah, we don't know how to do a podcast, and it takes a long time to get to be able to actually make one of these. We have to watch a long show and find the time to record, and then I'll have to edit. So it takes a while. We have no idea when episodes will be up, if we will continue this, how far we will get, etc.
If anyone will watch them.
Yeah, probably
not.
All 2 people watching right now, or listening, whatever.
Either one.
All right. So just briefly about the name, I just think it's a funny story how I came up with it. I was actually thinking about doing a podcast back in, let's say, April, sometime in the spring. The idea stuck in my head, and I had no idea where to go with it or anything. It was just an idea of something. And I looked at my YouTube subscription feed one day and saw Luka Jin Let's Play in a game called Danganronpa. And because I'm such a wrestling nerd, just by looking at it real quickly, I thought for a second it said Dragonrana. And I did a little looking around. Turns out nobody has the name Dragonrana Podcast. So, yay, there's our name.
And it's also funny because I have seen Danganronpa and played Danganronpa before. So when he told me that story, I was like, you silly little nerd.
I am a silly little wrestling nerd, yes.
I mean, granted, I'm the one that actually knows about Danganronpa, so that probably makes me the bigger nerd.
Well, I'm getting there. I'm just following Luka Jin's series. I'll get on your level. Don't worry. I think we should also briefly give a little talk about our wrestling fandom, just to let you guys know who we are as wrestling fans. So, me, Kyle, I started watching wrestling in 2008, right around WrestleMania 24. The first thing I actually saw was a Cutting Edge segment, that's Edge's talk show on WWE TV with Ric Flair. And the thing that really hooked me was the next week on SmackDown, Edge did the funeral for the Undertaker streak, and Undertaker, they had this casket in the middle of the ring, and the whole 9 yards. And Undertaker's music hit, and he sent his goons up to beat him up when he came out, and Undertaker popped out of the casket and jumped Edge. I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and I got hooked right from there. And I continued to watch until just after WrestleMania 27 in 2011, and I don't remember why exactly, but I just stopped watching. I don't remember. I think maybe I missed one episode and then just didn't go back to it. I would still check in from time to time. I caught bits and pieces of CM Punk's year-long reign as WWE champion, but I would only really watch if I had nothing else going on a Monday. I'm kind of sad about that because I missed the Summer of Punk, which kind of sucks. I got back into it officially, full throttle, at WrestleMania 30 in 2014, actually. I had gotten home from work or something on a Sunday night and realized, WrestleMania is on. I might want to check this out. So I looked on some maybe less than legal sites to find some streams of WrestleMania, and I caught the last 2 minutes of the Brock-Undertaker match.
Ouch.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And, I saw Undertaker lose. The guy that got me into wrestling, I had to watch him lose his streak getting back into it. But then right after that, I saw Daniel Bryan do his thing, and I had been reading about what had been going on, so I'd been aware of the story of Daniel Bryan. So seeing that happen was pretty cool, too. And from that point on, I had watched that pretty much every week and watched all the pay-per-views. First thing I saw of New Japan was in the spring of 2015. Again, maybe through some less than legal means, I saw a replay of Wrestle Kingdom 9, and it blew me away. It was just an awesome event. It was really cool. Shinsuke Nakamura and Kota Ibushi blew me away. And I caught bits and pieces of it throughout the year. I think the next show I saw of New Japan, Goto won the IC title from Nakamura, and I didn't see anything of that again from New Japan until 2016 at Wrestle Kingdom the next year. It was AJ and Shinsuke, and the final chapter of Okada and Tanahashi. So that was another great show. I stayed up all night to watch that one. I was up at like 6 a.m. still watching that show.
Mark.
And I believe you'll talk about it when you get to yours. I think that was the first show you saw of New Japan.
That's
so.
you forced me to watch it.
Yeah.
And, that's what I did.
That's really the story of your wrestling fandom, isn't it? I forced you into wrestling. I forced you into New Japan, and I'm forcing you into this podcast.
Pretty
right?
close. I mean, my original run of watching when I was like a kid wasn't. I don't think it was you. I think it was just kind of both of us at the same time because I have similar memories like you. Because my first thing I actually legitimately remember was Shawn Michaels against The Undertaker, but I have vague memories of the Undertaker Edge match.
I remember that we did watch Taker and Michaels live.
Yes.
We did get that at WrestleMania. I remember, which was cool to see.
Which was the only thing I remember from that WrestleMania, which I guess is kind of telling about the show as a whole.
Yeah. So for me, I kind of saw bits and pieces again in 2016. I got very interested in it when Kenny Omega won the G1 in 2016. We'll mention that on this podcast.
Obviously.
And this is the show, Wrestle Kingdom 11 here. This was when I went, to coin a phrase, all in on
Hate you.
on New Japan, and I watched, I believe, every big major event except for Dontaku from this year. That was because, as we'll find out, it was Okada and Fale in the main event. I had really no interest in watching that. But yeah, since that point, I've watched pretty much every big New Japan event, and that's the only one I've really missed. And here we are today. So how about you, Justin? Where did you begin?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, but I guess that would be WrestleMania 24. I guess I have a memory of Shawn and Ric Flair, but at that point I really hadn't known much about wrestling or about these two characters. So, but somehow yet, even still watching it and not knowing, I still felt something during that match.
Because they're great.
It's because they're great, and the last moment really stuck with me. That's really the only thing I remember.
The I'm sorry, I love you super kick.
So I guess you could call that my official moment of when, oh my gosh, this is wrestling. I'm a little kid. I love this.
It's a good start.
I don't really remember, but then I have some memories of WrestleMania 25, and then it was just me as a kid watching wrestling. I honestly don't remember when I stopped, but at some point I just did, grew out of it, as kids sometimes do. And then, I don't remember when, but what got me back into wrestling was my brother here, Kyle, just I think he was at college at the time, and just kind of out of the blue sent me a link to basically the whole show of WrestleMania 31.
Again, maybe through some less than legal means, but
I remember I was at my dad's house and I wasn't really doing anything, so I was like, you know what the hell, I'll watch it, and I did. I don't remember the year it was, and I thought this
2015. That was
2015 was the year, but I don't remember what year I watched it.
It would have been right after, I would think. So
okay. Because it did take me a while after I watched that show. But I remember... Honestly, I remember most of the ladder match with Daniel Bryan winning. I really didn't know much about Daniel Bryan, but I thought that match was cool. I remember the RKO on Seth Rollins after the curb stop, which was awesome. And then I remember the cash-in at the end of the show being awesome. And that kind of reignited my wrestling fandom. I didn't immediately go back into it right away, because I don't think I was officially back on board till probably, I know I was watching by Royal Rumble 2016 because that's when AJ debuted, which was awesome because I have weird random bits and pieces of wrestling memory throughout my life. I remember seeing some TNA with AJ Styles, and he was like the only part of TNA I actually remembered.
Yeah.
His awesome theme, him being amazing.
Yeah, that's something I kind of forgot to mention too. I dipped a toe in TNA a little bit. I used to watch it kind of weekly. Went back and forth, came in and out, but yeah, we kind of both got little bits of TNA, but never like fully, like for years and years watched that.
Yeah,
too.
But I think it was probably AJ that got me back in full force with wrestling again, because I definitely watched WrestleMania 32 live, and I was way into the AJ and Roman matches that came after that, and I think I've pretty much been watching for the most part ever since. So I haven't been watching very long, but I became a hardcore fan pretty quickly, which is I don't know, maybe a little strange. But, so yeah, for some reason, I remember, I don't think I'd even watched any of AJ in New Japan at that point. I just remember, like, this guy was awesome, and I remember him being awesome, and he's here. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I had heard about the rumors. I must have been watching sometime before then.
I remember we went to the NXT event in Green Bay. Well, we live in Wisconsin, by the way, if you can't tell by our Midwest accents. We went to the NXT event in Green Bay. It was it was in the weeks between Wrestle Kingdom 10 and Royal Rumble. So people had known AJ, Shinsuke, and Gallows and Anderson had signed, but they hadn't debuted yet. So people were kind of going nuts. So it would have been around that time, right?
Okay.
I just remember that being really cool because everyone was so hyped, and when Finn Balor had his match with Sami Zayn, everyone had kind of Bullet Club fever. It was really cool.
That was our big house show. Probably the first house show I've ever went to, honestly. Anyway, I think that pretty much just about does it.
Well, you didn't really talk much about New Japan yet in
that's
10,
true.
right?
I forget. That's what the podcast is about.
Yeah.
It's about New Japan. I never talked about New Japan.
Yeah, so I watched it live as it happened, and then I believe the next day I forced him to sit down and watch a 5-hour wrestling show with
Kingdom
me.
10, I believe?
Yeah, with no knowledge of pretty much anything except AJ Styles is here, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I believe that was about it. Was that really the next day?
It was either the next day or later that week. I remember loving the show and wanting to show you.
Okay.
So.
Like, I honestly don't remember that much from the show, probably because I was still rather hesitant to get back full force into wrestling again. But I do remember the main event was Okada Tanahashi, right?
Mm-hmm. The last one.
Vague memories of that, and then of course Nakamura I fell in love with immediately. And that's about it. And then I don't know if I got full force back into New Japan probably until the next year. Kind of around the same time Kyle did. But I don't think I watched Wrestle Kingdom 11 live.
Probably not. Well, I didn't watch it either. I had to work the next day, which was unfortunate, so I couldn't stay up all night. But yeah, that's kind of how our relationship goes when it comes to wrestling. I find something new, and then I force it upon you, and then you get into it.
Yep.
That's kind of how it works.
And that's why I'm here today. So,
yeah, putting up with me.
Trying to have something to do fun with my brother, to talk about, to relate to, and that's good. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
And I figured that there was nobody doing, like, I kind of wanted this to be OSW review style rundowns of New Japan shows, and I figured that there was really nobody doing that on the podcasting scene. There's a lot of wrestling podcasts out there, but I don't think anyone's really doing it in OSW style. So I thought that'd be cool, kind of fill a niche that doesn't really exist yet, and we could have fun doing it. I enjoyed doing, I did a trial run by myself. I enjoyed making that and editing it, so yeah, we'll have some fun with this and watch some damn good wrestling, won't we?
Yep, I'm only here to have fun. Even though I've watched all these matches before, I'm really here just to have a good time. And if it takes off, cool. If not, it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
So
we're just here to have fun.
We're just here to have fun.
So
anyway.
Now with all that intro spiel out of the way, let's get this started.
There will be a link in the description to skip all the BS at the start. I don't know if there will.
Nah, sit through it.
I mean, that's what podcasts are all about. You got to get to know us a little bit. We're the dazzling co-hosts. Or I'm the co-host. Anyway.
January 4th, 2017, from the Tokyo Dome in Tokyo, Japan. It's Wrestle Kingdom 11 in front of 26,192 in attendance and approximately 100,000 viewers on New Japan World.
100,000?
Yeah, 100,000 subscribers, give or take, between Japan and international.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Commentators tonight for the English broadcast team are Kevin Kelly, and it's so nice to hear him again, Steve Corino, in one of his final performances for New Japan Pro Wrestling. At this time, he had just signed a deal with WWE to go be a trainer down in NXT, so he was just finishing up New Japan and Ring of Honor dates.
I actually didn't know that.
Point.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so this is he worked New Year's Dash the next night, and I believe that was his last job at commentary for New Japan, and we could get Don Callis next month.
Which is pretty good.
Who I like, but Kevin and Steve, they're like two friends watching wrestling and just having a laugh, so it just, when they're having fun, we're having fun. So it's great to have that duo back, even if it's just for one show. So without any further ado, let's get started with our pre-show main event.
Already stealing from OSW.
Yeah.
What a start.
There will be a lot of OSW jokes. I apologize in advance. Go check them out. OSWreview.com. They're great. So our first match tonight on the pre-show is the New Japan Rumble. Now, if you're wondering, what is this? It's kind of like New Japan's version of a Royal Rumble. It's a little bit different. Every 1 minute there's a new entrant instead of 90 seconds, although I'm pretty sure both are kayfabed. Eliminations occur over the top rope or by pinfall or submission. So Aztec Warfare rules, if you're a fan of Lucha Underground.
Never seen that. I gotta get that.
And the last man in the ring wins. There's nothing really on the line. It's just to get everybody on the show and to have a laugh. Get the Legends a nice payday and a nice pop. And anybody who wasn't good enough to get a match on the main card, you can get your Wrestle Kingdom moments.
And then, of course, you can put over somebody, so that's always a plus.
Mm-hmm. And there's no set number of entrants, like the Royal Rumble will have 30 entrants, sometimes 40 or 50, depending on how you feel. But yeah, this year only had 14 entrants, and I believe next year's has 20. I'm not sure, but they vary from year to year. And this is very much a less serious match than the Royal Rumble, like I said, just to get the pop for the Legends and to have a bit of a laugh. So to start off this match, we have Michael Elgin coming out first. He's just back from an orbital bone injury he suffered wrestling Tetsuya Naito last fall for the IC title. He made it back in time for Wrestle Kingdom, but not in time to get on the main show, so he's here on the pre-show, but he'll have a featured role in
How many
match.
people have gotten orbital bone injuries in the past, 2 years?
It's been a lot. We had, Austin Aries
Yep.
in NXT. We had Evil just recently. We're recording this in June of 2018, by the way. So yeah, it's
weird.
eye socket. Kenny Omega thought he had one after Strong Style evolved, so it's...
He was just...
He was okay, it seemed, but he definitely looked like something was wrong with his eye. So, I don't know. Something in the water? Nah.
Something, yeah.
Out number 2 is Fuck Off Billy Gunn.
Yeah!
Billy Gunn here in New
Cute
Japan.
Kip. Sorry.
Cute Kip. You've been watching too much OSW from the TNA arc.
Nope.
Cute Kip.
No.
All right. So Billy Gunn was working, he worked to World Tag League just last month, and apparently he impressed New Japan officials enough for them to bring him back for the Battle Royal. But this 53-year-old ex-WWF Attitude Era guy in New Japan is,
And then gets a match with Tanahashi.
Bullet Club Hunter shirt.
What is the Bullet Club Hunters?
It was a faction.
I don't remember.
Yeah, a faction. You, it's no problem if you don't remember. They didn't last very. They weren't very successful.
I do remember one thing.
Yoshitatsu, who
we'll
see
get there.
later.
We'll get there.
But yeah, Bullet Club Hunter was a faction made by Yoshitatsu to fight Bullet Club, but I think they only ever got to a maximum of 4 members, and it didn't really last that long, and Tatsu fucked off to All Japan, so it never went anywhere. They were pretty weak, and he only had guys like Yoshitatsu and Billy Gunn.
Well, I love Yoshitatsu, so...
Yoshitatsu, he's definitely boy-worthy.
He is my boy.
Yes.
Anyway, if you think number 2 is bad, number 3...
The Bone
Yeah!
Soldier. The Boner himself.
This is the first really shitty incarnation of Bone Soldier, right?
Yes, this is Captain Fulkin New Japan. Get the fuck out of here. So, I thought this was hilarious. When he comes out, Carino says, I think Bone Soldier might be the most interesting member of Bullet Club. And Kevin Kelly immediately says, no, he's not.
Yeah, he is the most interesting member of Bullet Club. No, he's not.
I thought this was funny. Billy Gunn and Michael Hogan team up in double team Boner, beat him down, but you can see that nobody gives a fuck about this match because Billy Gunn, you can audibly hear as they're counting down for the next entrance, Billy Gunn yell at Michael Hogan, "Hit me in the back!"
I missed that.
Yeah, nobody cares.
You talk too much?
Yeah, you never shut up.
Nope.
Out fourth is, to a huge pop, Cheeseburger.
I love Cheeseburger.
He's so great.
Why is he so over in Japan?
I don't know. I think it's just they love an underdog. Like, they love the young lions at Kurikan Hall. Like, they always.
I guess he is like the biggest young lion. Like,
yeah, he's a huge, because if you've never seen this guy, the fact that he's named Cheeseburger is based off a joke because he's so skinny and so slim that when he was training in the ROH dojo, I think someone told him that he needs to eat a few cheeseburgers. So there you go. This 90-pound guy is named Cheeseburger. Yeah, he gets a big pop. And Burger eliminates Boner.
yeah!
Awesome, yes.
Thank you.
You start to see the chain here.
The most over guy eliminating
The circle of life.
Yes.
Out next, number 5 is Liger to a huge
Liger.
pop. Liger's song is awesome.
How about that? Yeah, how about that? I have that written down. How about that theme?
It's great. And this is kind of cool. Cheeseburger's mentor is Jushin Liger. He was always a huge fan, and he's kind of like the senpai to his Kohai, I think it is.
Okay.
So they team up and take on Michael Elgin, and Elgin and Gunn get the upper hand, but Gunn turns on Elgin and but Elgin eliminates him in retaliation for that. All right, so here's where I'm going to start botching names. Our first big legend of the night, Kunakai Kobayashi. I believe he's just kind of like some dirty, nasty heel junior heavyweight because he had some run-ins with Liger and Tiger Mask in this match.
Makes sense.
So Liger and Kobayashi, they square off. There's a nice fisherman on Liger by Kobayashi and goes for the mask. It was really impressive that this...
Yeah.
What was he, late 50s probably? Or maybe
Yeah.
60s, and he can hit a fisherman suplex. That's pretty good.
I like it.
And yeah, he goes after the mask like the dirty heel that he is. Tiger Mask is out next, and Kobayashi goes after his mask.
Can I just... I don't know what it is about this Tiger Mask. I just don't like him. I don't know. I don't know who's under the mask or what the... Yeah, for some reason, I just don't like him.
For those not familiar, Tiger Mask is a character that goes back to the 80s from an old anime. And we'll see more of a Tiger Mask later on.
Oh, yes.
But this is the 4th incarnation of Tiger Mask. I don't remember his name. I'm not a huge fan of him either, but he's not a terrible worker. He's just, I'm not interested.
Something about him just makes me, it just irks me.
Give me Satoru Sayama, the original Tiger Mask.
I can't, anyway.
Whatever. So Liger and Tiger team up to eliminate Kobayashi by a pinfall. Out next is Manabu Nakanishi, who cleans house because he's big. This was interesting that I don't know if this is just a post-production thing. I think at the time they were still doing this, but Nakanishi's theme is dubbed. He's got a dubbed theme. And like Nakanishi's theme, Nagata's, Tenzan, Kojima, they all had dubbed themes, but like a few months from now, that would all stop and they just get their theme played. I don't know if they were just being safe with copyright issues or they got cleared up or what, but it's just weird to hear the dubbed theme for Nakanishi when I'm used to hearing his regular theme. Yeah, so Nakanishi runs wild. Out next at number 9 is Ryusuke Taguchi. Everyone jumps on Nakanishi to pin him. Then there was a cool spot here where Liger goes for his surfboard stretch on Taguchi, while Tiger Mask, his friend, slides in between the elevated Taguchi and Liger, who's laying on the floor, and pins him. There's a bit of confusion of whether you got the 3 count or not.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the best spot.
Because this match is a mess.
The best spot in the match gets botched.
Yeah,
thank you, Tiger Hattori.
This match is just it's not necessarily Hattori's fault. It's just this match. Nobody cares. They book like 3 spots.
Yeah,
it's just a mess. But yeah, so he and Liger get into an argument, and then after a Taguchi hip attack and Liger like tricks up Tiger Mask, he helps Taguchi pin Tiger to get revenge.
Yeah.
So both Liger and Tiger are out. Out number 10 is your boy, Yoshitatsu.
Yoshitatsu, I loved it. It was his commentary that made me love him, but then I kind of went back and was like, I kind of remember you, Yoshitatsu. And I'm like,
yes,
from like his WWE, yes.
The original Yes movement.
I make that joke all the time whenever I get the chance.
Yeah. Out number 11 is Yuji Nagata. He puts the Nagata lock on Taguchi, and Tatsu breaks it up to some huge boos. I'll give him one thing. He kind of sucks, but he knows how to get that heat. Which is weird, because he's in Bullet Club Hunters, which is fighting a heel faction. It's weird.
Doesn't matter.
The hate for Tatsu exceeds the hate for Bullet Club, I guess.
And not for me.
Right. Hiroyoshi Tenzan is out next. I noticed he's standing on the side of his shoe. I saw him do that recently, and I remember hearing that he had an injury, like an Achilles injury that he needed to get worked on at some point. I don't know if this has been a long-standing thing or if that's just how he stands, because he was doing that weird thing where the side of his shoe is on the ground and not playing it flat. So, yeah, just interesting that a year earlier he was still having these problems.
I mean, I did something similar when I hurt my toe, maybe even broken it, like where I would just walk on the side of my foot, because it could be something, like just a minor toe injury or something, I don't know.
Wrestlers sometimes, like, put off getting surgeries for a long... Like, I remember Victoria needed, like, an ACL surgery for, like, 15 years, and she never got it. And I think, like, Great Muta just recently is going in for, like, double knee replacement, which he's needed for, like, 2 decades. So sometimes wrestlers just put off doing that for a long time, because you can't miss anything. So everyone teams up and eliminates Tatsu because everyone hates Yoshitatsu.
I don't hate you, Yoshitatsu. I love you.
Hiro Saito is out next. Big pop for him, and a big pop for hitting a running senton, which was a signature move of his, I guess.
The big boy?
The big boy, yes. New Legacy Inc. reference.
Does he have anything to do with the Saito suplex?
I'm
you
not
know?
sure. I would have to look it up. I would figure, but
Because if
I
it
don't
is, if he was like the inventor of it or whatever, that's my favorite type of suplex, the Saito suplex. So shout out. I just wrote that down. I didn't know if it had anything to do with him or not, but I just anyway.
So Saito and Tenzan eliminate Nagata with a pin, and outlast is the big boy, Scott Norton, the former IWGP Heavyweight Champion, making a one-time return for this Rumble.
I know nothing about this guy.
Yeah,
Do you know anything?
Not a lot.
So?
He was in WCW. He was like one of the lower ranked members of the NWO. He was much bigger in Japan, obviously, former champion. He's kind of like that. He's a taller Michael Elgin, basically. He's a big, beefy American, and that always gets over in Japan. You know, Stan Hansen, Vader, and the like.
That's true.
So Scott Norton comes in, immediately power bombs and pins Taguchi. And this I thought was funny. Tenzan, Saito, and Berger all like walk over to the side that Scott Norton's on, like to team up and to take on Elgin. It's like, let's get on this big guy's good side and take out that guy. So I thought that was funny. Elgin runs wild, pins Saito with a lariat. Elgin eliminates Norton over the top rope.
Given a huge rope.
And Elgin's trying to suplex Tenzan, and Berger comes in to try to stop it, but Elgin is too strong. He powers him back up. And then Elgin eliminates Tenzan over the top rope. We're down to Berger versus Elgin.
Great.
Yeah.
David versus Goliath. Okay, gotta love it.
Elgin kills him with a forearm. Berger hits a thrust kick, so there might be a little bit of a rally, but then Elgin hits him with a buckle bomb and the Elgin bomb for the pin. Elgin wins the New Japan Rumble, earning him nothing.
Yes.
Although he would end up getting an IC title shot next month. Sort of a combination because of the win here and because Naito put him out in September, I believe it was. So he'll get his return match for the IC title later this month. All right, with our pre-show out of the way, let's get right into our main card. Here's where you put in the Tiger Mask W theme. That's awesome.
I had something to add, but to the pre-show, but
oh well, I can splice this out and put it back in. What do you think?
So this was just a little thing I had. Cheeseburger, a popular final elimination from the New Japan Rumble. I didn't remember the Wrestle Kingdom 10 one, but he was the second eliminated in Wrestle Kingdom 12, and I just have written here. He is Roman Reigns of Rumbles for New Japan. Always the last eliminated. Anyway, splice that in wherever you want.
Yeah. All right. So now with that out of the way, let's get on to our main card. Wrestle Kingdom 11 starts now.
Let's go.
Our opening contest here at Wrestle Kingdom 11 is Tiger Mask W versus Tiger the Dark. Now you may be asking, what the fuck is this? This is a cross-promotional match for the new Tiger Mask W anime that's making a return at this point. Like I mentioned earlier, it was a anime back in the 80s. It's kind of been a recurring thing in Japanese wrestling culture. And it's a new series is starting up, and they're using the opening match of Wrestle Kingdom 11 to do a live-action version of that. Playing these two characters.
No, wait. Who were playing them? I couldn't figure it out. Like, I was seeing these moves and they seemed so familiar. I just didn't. I just couldn't.
I was gonna mention that during the match, but yes, I love Steve Carino playing up. Like, oh, who are these guys? Could they be? Nah. When they're doing the same moves that wrestlers would.
That's just one of my favorite gimmicks of people in masks like pretending to be other people.
Who is this?
Like Hulk Hogan, Mr. America, or like Ricochet as Prince Puma and Stampede and the G stuff.
Yeah,
it's like
playing these characters. ACH from Ring of Honor, formerly of Ring of Honor, is playing Tiger the Dark, and Kota Ibushi who used to have a full-time deal with New Japan, is playing Tiger Mask W. The reason he's playing this character and not working full-time at this point is because he isn't signing a contract. Really. He dipped a toe in WWE, did the Cruiserweight Classic, but didn't sign there, and he's not really the type of guy to commit to one company. He's sort of a free spirit, so it's hard to lock this guy down. So that's why he's doing this character instead of being Kota Ibushi and getting a main event push at this point. So, first note I have, Tiger Mask's theme is awesome. I'm splicing that in. You've already heard it. It's a great theme. I'm a sucker for a good anime opening, is what it is. And that is an anime opening. That's what this is.
Well.
So, a voice actor for the show introduces Tiger Mask instead of the regular ring announcer. Yeah, I didn't catch her name. But yeah, she plays... I've seen a couple episodes of Tiger Mask W.
I thought she was like just an actor portraying a character from... That's what commentary
she's the voice actor in the show, yes. And she plays like the manager / friend of Tiger Mask W. So yeah, that's what she's doing here. Alright, so we start off with some early athletics from both. And Tiger Mask Dark hits a Fallsbury flop to the outside, which is you run towards the rope, twist your body, and do a moonsault to the outside. Looks really cool. There's a bit of short heat because this match is only going 5 minutes before we get a comeback. We hit the Golden Triangle moonsault to the outside.
Who could have done that move?
Yeah, who could it possibly
Who could be under the mask?
Yeah, that's where Carino starts with a wait a minute. Nah. Ibushi strike combo. Who could this be?
I don't know.
Standing moonsault countered with the knees up. Tiger Mask Dark hits a tombstone pile driver.
Gotta love...
actually, it's a tombstone, reversal, and then reversal back into the tombstone pile driver.
You gotta love Japan versus WWE and like American. Tombstone pile driver, super dangerous move. WWE. New Japan, opening match, it doesn't even get the 3 count.
Yeah, it's one of those cultural differences where I think I've talked about it with you before, where Undertaker was never a big deal in Japan. But you know who was? Stan Hansen. So Stan Hansen's lariat is a devastating move in Japan, and a tombstone pile driver is just a set. That's why your top champion hits a tombstone to set up the lariat, and not a lariat to set up the tombstone, as it would be in Western culture. So this is where Kelly starts teasing Carino a bit because he's going to WWE and he knows that. And in the show, the global wrestling monopoly is kind of like the not really, but sort of their version of WWE. And in the show, they have control of Tiger the Dark. He signs a contract with them, and Kevin teases Steve back when it was better, right? About the WWE, like back in the day, and Carino's like, hey, don't you start that. He's defending WWE. I just think that's kind of funny. And it's just fun to see friends having a good time. Like I mentioned before, they're just having fun. And we finish it off, Tiger Driver into the Golden Star Powerbomb, which I thought was actually pretty cool. So the finisher, the Tiger Driver, is the normal finisher or normal signature for Tiger Mask. So he does the Tiger position, lifts him up into the powerbomb, and then hits his last ride Ibushi Golden Star Powerbomb for the pin. And I thought this was cool. After the match, you know how they'll play your music again. Some people have slightly different variations for victory music. They played the ending credits theme when Tiger Mask won, which I thought was really cool. That's just... I love that. Little things like that just make it so much fun. So yeah, what'd you think of this match?
I thought it was okay. I mean, it is for an open... so the way New Japan books is they book it like a New Japan main event match where you just kind of just build to your biggest match. So this one it was only 5 minutes, wasn't very long. I didn't think that much happened in the match, and there was decent enough high spots for an opener, it wasn't a bad match, but when you compare it to all the other stuff on the card, really not much happened.
Yeah, but not much to this match. Like you said, the New Japan main events are kind of a microcosm for how they book their shows, and they start with the least important stuff and then work their way up as you get deeper into the card. More important, better matches, climbing. So this is probably one of the least important matches. They've started recently doing more of a Western thing where they kick off with like a cruiserweight spot fest type match, which we'll see up next, and that sort of match starts off a lot of big shows where you have a bunch of titles on the line. But yeah, it was an opener. It was okay. Nothing to write home about. I would have rather seen Ibushi versus ACH, But the outfits look cool, and I got to hear the Tiger Mask theme, which was awesome.
Something else I have is Kevin Kelly on commentary kept promoting the anime. Like, he had watched it and go watch it and stuff. Was this just a promotion match? Is that all it was? Like,
sort of. But I thought on that subject, it was kind of hilarious that I don't think he watched all of it. I think he watched an episode or two and he got cliff notes on the rest of the episodes because he was clearly reading off notes. He did not know what... Like, he understood enough to, like... He would have seen some of it at least. So he would have seen at least one episode. But, you know, he clearly did not see all of this. So, but yeah, okay match. Glad Ibushi and ACH are getting work. Somebody give ACH a damn job. He's really good. Please.
Doing good stuff in Super Juniors.
Yeah.
We live in a world where even kings have vices. Well, and we are the kings and we are your vice. You see, we the true kings, the kings of the night, kings of the lights. Roppongi lights. Roppongi. Roppongi. Roppongi lights. Roppongi vice. Roppongi. Roppongi. Roppongi lights.
All right, so our second match of the night is for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. It's the challengers, Roppongi Vice, taking on the champions of the Bullet Club, the Young Bucks. Great to hear Roppongi Vice's theme. Again, I love it. Roppongi. Roppongi.
That was Rocky Romero. He made that song, right?
Yep.
And he also made Roppongi 3K too, right?
Roppongi 3K, 3K,
Okay,
3K.
all right. I get it.
Oh, don't wait till we get to October.
Oh, no.
So the story here, you'll see this as kind of a theme with most matches. There's not a lot of big soap opera-y drama in New Japan. It's very much sports-based in how they tell their stories. So Roppongi Vice lost the titles earlier in the year, and they kind of struggled to get back to the top. They're having problems getting to that next level. But earlier in the fall, they won the Junior Tag League, which is a single elimination tournament of junior heavyweight tag teams, to earn the title shot at the Tokyo Dome, and that's where we are now. They're challenging... Oh, and Rocky Romero is going for his 7th IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, which would be the most of any junior heavyweight in the history of the promotion.
Does New Japan have literally every type of tournament possible? Junior heavyweight tournament, junior heavyweight tag tournament, heavyweight tag team tournament, G1.
They also have Best of Super Juniors, and
yeah,
I think they're missing like the round robin for the junior tag, but they're not their talent. They're junior tag divisions. And
they have the New Japan Cup. Like it seems like they have every type of tournament with every type of weight class and tag teams.
In 2016 they had a single elimination junior tournament, but they didn't do that in 2017, and they haven't done it in a while before 2016. So I don't think that'll be back. But yeah,
need 3-way, never open weight tournaments.
They love their tournaments in New Japan. So the Young Bucks come out, and they have the PWG, the Ring of Honor, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight, and their very own custom Super Kick Party tag titles with them as well.
If you think Zachy 2 belts, Young Buck 4 belts.
Yeah.
Like, goodness gravy.
Matty 4 belts.
Matty
and
4
Nikki
belts.
4
Mato!
belts. Although that makes him sound like Nikki from the Spirit Squad, so maybe not Nikki 4 belts. All right.
As the Young Bucks are coming down, something that, since people don't get a lot of promo time over in New Japan, they just kind of cut promos on the ramps. Like, he's cutting promos on the Hardys, just doing some fun stuff on the way. I just think that's kind of a cool way of getting a little more time in.
I forget where I heard that exactly, but I remember hearing on a podcast or an interview or something that people talk about when you have those 30 seconds coming down to the ring, that's 30 seconds of free promo time if you wanted. So you talk to the camera, say something. So I think they make great use of that. And yeah, they're calling out the Hardys. Interesting bit of note, Matt Hardy appeared on the screen at Final Battle just last month. This would set up their feud in Ring of Honor come February and March before the Hardys would return to WWE in April.
Matt also coming down the ramp, screaming like Japanese girls, Mato!
I love that. Mato! Nikki! Yeah, I love that.
Anyway.
And that's one of the things I love about Japanese wrestling are the girls in the audience screaming like, Shinsuke!
Oh, we'll get there.
Yeah. Edge Styrus!
We'll get there. Tanahashi is yet to come.
Tana! All right, so we'll kick off. We get a hot start, and Roppongi Vice cleans house. Bucks T's leaving, like walking right back up the ramp immediately as the match starts, so Roppongi Vice comes out to chase him. But swerve, Young Bucks turn around, super kick Roppongi Vice, and sprint back to the ring to try to win by count.
I marked that. I was like, that's awesome. I kind of missed some of the heel parts of the Bullet Club now that they're more face, like Kenny acting heel in the main event. And...
Don't say too much.
Well,
we got a year to cover, man.
All right, fine.
You're fine, but
I'm loving the heel work that I haven't gotten to see much of recently.
And we get a 19 count. By the way, it's a 20 count on the outside in New Japan, not a 10 count. So we get to 19, but both men get back in the ring before the count of 20. So I thought this was interesting. Beretta takes like an AJ Styles like backdrop.
I have that same thing written down.
Yeah, and I thought that was really interesting considering what's about to happen. I thought it was the way he like fell. It looked very familiar to what's about to happen. Maybe some foreshadowing. Which, if that is the case, like, man, those Young Bucks, they don't get enough credit. That's brilliant. If that's truly what the purpose of that was to foreshadow what's going to happen to Beretta later, that's something. Oh yeah, and next I have, it's nice to hear Carino say super kick.
Super kick!
I don't get enough of that. That's the thing I missed about him the most, him just marking out for super kicks. We don't get to hear enough of that anymore. Kevin Kelly does a decent job trying to continue the legacy. He'll go, super kick! But it's not the same as super kick! Yeah, so nice to hear that again, even if it's just for one time. And the Bucks isolate Beretta, cut him off from Rocky. So Nick kicks Matt out on the floor by accident. He's trying to kick Beretta.
They love that spot. Where
they do that a lot.
They love that spot.
And then trying to get Beretta again, he misses again and kicks a young boy. Those poor young boys.
Poor young boys.
Minoru Suzuki's not even there yet. It's like
Is he not coming this time?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Spoilers.
Well, sorry.
All right, Beretta tags Rocky for the hot tag, and we get the forever clotheslines, which is a great spot. I love that. Slice bread countered, and they tease the Meltzer driver, but it's countered, and they hit a double knee, which is like the classic like Rocky Romero double team move, the jumping double knee.
I think before that, because Nick is out on the ramp and he gets bumped off, and he like flops out on the hard cam. He takes this hilarious bump that I don't think anyone got to see. I just thought it was funny.
And Rocky hits a dive to the outside. And he comes back in, and they do an awesome knee drop burning hambo combo on Matt for a 2. It just annoys me a little bit that it's a burning hammer. Like, you couldn't do a DVD, like flip him the other way, do a Death Valley Driver, because it's the burning hammer, man.
See, but it was not the real burning hammer. It was the reverse AA. Like,
I mean,
so
still,
I thought it was just
like
a good
Michael Elgin does it occasionally, and he only ever does it when he's going to win with it. So I understand it looks a bit different, but still, it's a burning hammer. It's a burning hammer, man. Treat it with a little respect. So yeah, they get a 2 count on that. Strong 0, but it's countered into a Bulldog Yoshi Tonic combo, which looked really cool. Superplex on Romero is countered with Beretta Germaning off the top. And then we get that bump. Beretta hits the ropes and goes for his tope over the ropes. Splat. Nobody there. Now, upon watching it again, it wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was when I watched this for the first time. I thought he was dead, but he got a nice his momentum was good and he kind of rolled through it. I'm sure that killed his tailbone.
Yeah, it was not. It did not look great.
Yeah, and his the lower half of his body kind of missed the mats, so I'm sure it was not great. But it did not look nearly as bad as it did on first watching. Apparently, this is a thing he does. Chuck Taylor apparently calls this the main event dive because he would in WWE he would do this on he would get super confused because Beretta would do this on shows where he had no business doing this on on Main Event and SmackDown.
Keep the big bumps to the big shows, please.
I just saw a clip on Reddit a couple of days ago of him doing that same dive on SmackDown against Drew McIntyre, just nobody home splat. It's it looks cool, but don't kill yourself. I guess he got smart because this is the first I've seen him do this in New Japan. So he did it at Wrestle Kingdom. If you're going to do it there.
That's true.
So this leaves Rocky alone, so he has to take on the Bucks all by himself. He takes a double super kick and knee strike for a 2, kicks out. And then the buckle bomb with the kick combo, and then the elevated 450 where he drapes him across the middle rope for a 2, kicks out again.
I'm that move. Don't know if I like it or not. It looks awesome. And I think it adds, but just something, I don't know.
It's something different. It sets them apart. How many people do a 450? But nobody does a 450 with a guy draped across the second rope.
Yeah, so that's elevation.
They've talked about that before. It's the whole reason why they do things like that, because it's different. And then we get super kick, double super kick for a 2 count. Young Bucks set up for more bang for your buck. But as they're going for it, after Matt hits the rolling senton, Rocky cradles him. He traps the arms to roll him up in a cradle. And at that same moment, while Nick is standing on the top rope, Beretta springs back to life and grabs Nick's leg so he can't break up the pin. 1, 2, 3. Rocky scores the pin on Matt, and we have new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions and 7-time champions in Rocky Romero. What did you think about this match, Justin?
I thought it was a better opener than the first match. To be honest, a lot more high spots, and we still got the decent story out of it. Of like Bucks working on Beretta and Bucks having a little bit of miscommunication. It was a good Bucks match, you know. Roppongi Vice and the Young Bucks have good chemistry, and it was a lot of fun. And of course, super kick.
Super kick. Yeah, I think this is like the match that sort of starts people on their path of thinking differently about the Young Bucks. They've always kind of been known as like the spot monkeys who just do cool moves and don't have any storytelling or psychology in their matches. I think this is the first match of this year which will change people's minds. They have a bunch of matches this year that are really good and really story driven, and then they continue it into 2018. So this is the first in that step. I thought this was really good. At the time, I think I had this at like 4 stars. This was really good.
I'm not giving star ratings to anything.
Yeah, I'm not doing star ratings either, but that's how much I liked it. It was a really good match, and I'm happy to watch more of these in the coming months. The Roppongi Vice and the Young Bucks had some really good matches, so looking forward to that.
Before we sign off, Super Kick Party! How many times did the Young Bucks connect with a Super Kick?
Ooh.
We're taking your answers right now.
I did not keep track of this. Good on you. I'm going to guess 6.
Number of times they hit Roppongi Vice. 10 super kicks total, including, that's like, if it's a double super kick.
That's 2.
That's 2. That counts as 2. Plus 1 Young Boy.
Yeah, so 11 super kicks.
11 super kicks total from the Young Bucks. Is it on the low end? Is it on the high end? I don't know.
There was the one Ring of Honor show where it wasn't a match. It was they interrupted the main event and just they hit like 70 super kicks. It's great.
Our security staff keeps being sent out here. Super kick! Super kicks! Super kick! Oh my goodness!
One thing, just a minor complaint I have before we finish up here. On the way out, this is really cool. Kevin Kelly has his microphone that he can get thoughts from people right after their matches or right before their matches. And the Young Bucks say into that microphone, "That's okay, Kevin. We still got these." And they hold up all their titles they still have. That just annoys me a little bit. It's like, you just lost the junior tag titles. Act like they meant something to you. I know that's kind of in their character to be like, oh, I don't care. I've still got all these other belts. But at the same time, if you want people to care about a title, you have to care about it yourself. Like that right now, true. Marty Scurll is coming out every match with a Never 6-man belt as we speak, in 2018. But those belts mean nothing, as we'll talk about in a second. But Marty cares about it because he's bringing it everywhere. So he's trying to make people care. Come on, Bucks. Act like you care a little bit when you lost these belts. But whatever. I enjoyed the match, and that post-match promo doesn't really take away all that much from it.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, I understand what you're saying, but when it's the Young Bucks just being heels, I think that's kind of okay. I don't know.
Yeah, either way works. I don't think it did that much damage to the belts, but, you could have held back a little bit. So next up, we have the Never 6-man titles gauntlet match. It's the Bullet Club team of Bad Luck Fale, Yujiro Takahashi, and Hangman Page versus the Chaos team of Yoshihashi, Jado, and Will Ospreay versus the Los Ingobernables de Japón team, Evil, Sonata, and Bushi versus the Segigun team. I don't think Taguchi Japan had been formed quite yet.
I have that noted here. I wrote Taguchi Japan ? Because I didn't know which faction this was.
I think they start to take shape over the next month or so. But the Segigun, when I say that, I just mean the faction list. They don't have an assigned faction that they're with at this moment, but most of these guys will be with Taguchi Japan in the next month.
That's okay.
David Finlay, Ricochet, and Satoshi Kojima, who are the champions. Which is a cool thing in this match. The champions come out last, which I appreciate. It's a gauntlet match. This is mostly just to get everyone on the show, but because the champions have to defend against 3 other teams, they're given the advantage of being the last team in, so they get to face opponents who have already wrestled, which is a nice touch. So to start off, we got Fale, Yujiro, and Hangman taking on Yoshihashi, Jado, and Will Ospreay. Jump start by the Bullet Club. They jump the Chaos team. Yoshi rallies. Yujiro, cuts Yoshi off on the outside. And this I thought was funny. Corino gets distracted by Yujiro, the Tokyo Pimps, girls that he brought to the ring. That's just kind of a running theme through this match. Like, he's getting distracted by these women sitting behind him.
Even the Godfather has grown up, but we still have a pimp gimmick in 2018.
Yeah,
even
this
17.
This is 17, but next year he's still doing the Tokyo Pimp gimmick. It's I don't know. Yeah. But it is what it is. Bunker Buster leads to a hot tag to Ospreay, who whips Paige to the outside. Space Flying Tiger Drop, which is a cartwheel into a standing moonsault to the outside.
Ospreay is
great.
Insane.
Standing Shooting Star Press, middle rope moonsault, but his opponent moves. He lands on his feet, tries a standing moonsault, lands on his feet, his opponent moved again. Then a standing Shooting Star, and then back to the middle rope for a corkscrew moonsault for 2. Ospreay is fucking awesome.
If you think Andrade Cien Almas double moonsault is cool, just look at the spot.
It's so great.
It's insane.
We get a spin kick, the name Robinson Special, like the Daredevil kick, as you call it.
It's Daredevil in the series. Daredevil does this kick, and I'd watched the show prior to Ospreay, knowing Ospreay. So whenever I see Ospreay do this kick, it's just, he's just doing the Daredevil kick. And it looks so silly. I love it. I love it.
So the Oz Cutter, which is the springboard into a cutter, is countered and into the Buckshot Lariat. Ospreay hits a double handspring Pele kick to get the momentum back. Tag to Jado. It turns into kind of a clusterfuck. Everyone's doing their moves, clearing the ring. Jado with the crossface, but it's broken up by Fale. Paige hits a running Shooting Star off the apron, which looks really cool, but also kind of silly. It always ends up being just like a running flipping headbutt. Although it looks cool. And if you're athletic enough to do it, make yourself...
Go for it.
Yeah, make yourself a little bit different. And Yujiro with the Pimp Juice, which is the low angle DDT for the 3. And I just have one note on the last part of that. You have Will Ospreay in this match, and... Yujiro and Fale are getting more matches tonight than Will Ospreay. What the fuck, Gato? I get it. He would have had to have lost the next match anyway. I would have liked to have seen Ospreay and Ricochet in this match, but you can't. If the winning team, the team that goes on to win, is going to win this match, you can't have Ospreay and Ricochet. So So the next team out is Evil, Sonata, and Bushi from Los Ingobernables. More on Los Ingobernables a little bit later. Yujiro lures Sonata to turn his back on the Bullet Club corner, and then Paige cheap shots him. Just nice old school heel stuff. Fale hits a big splash for a 2. Sonata bumps ref with Paige. He pushes Paige into him. Bushi dives on Fale. Evil with a chair shot on Yujiro, and Sonata with the skull end for the tap out, or the stoppage rather. And just a quick match to get Bullet Club out of there and to get LIJ to the last round.
You want to hear my notes for this match?
What's that?
Yujiro pins Jado. Sonato taps Yujiro. Of course. That's what I have for this match.
Yujiro is the fall guy for the Bullet Club. He's there to take the pin or the submission.
But there will be a new fall guy coming up shortly.
Ooh. And Outlast for the champions, David Finlay, Ricochet, and Kojima. I have here, excuse the Irish slang, I've watched OSW too much, State of David Finlay. Jesus Christ. He hasn't gotten any better in the last year. He comes out with, leopard tights, the frillies on the boots, he's pasty, he's got long greasy hair, the knacker tattoo on his upper back, and he's just a little bit too chubby for his tights. He looks awful. He's got one of the worst... He's a good wrestler, but he's got one of the worst looks in all of wrestling. Put on some tan, do a few more crunches, and lose the frilly boots, and you might be getting somewhere. But, God, man. Finley, what are you thinking? This guy's the son of Fit
That's
Finley,
true.
and he looks like
His
this.
name is Fit. Live up, man.
Alright, so LIJ jump starts on the ramp. They run out to meet the champions. Ricochet and Finley do dives to the outside. Sonata pulls Finley off the ropes, and he snaps his head for the heat. Tag to Ricochet. I just have sploosh for Ricochet's offense.
Well, of course.
It's awesome. 619, kick to the floor, springboard, drop kick, Northern Lights into Brainbuster. I can see why WWE signed this guy. Those damn Lucha Underground contracts, though. Had to wait. Had to wait to do it. Bushi hits a back kick and tags to Kojima and Evil on either side. Kojima chops to Evil, then Sonata, then throws Sonata out of the corner, then Evil again.
I just have Kojima chops a lot.
He does. The machine gun chops. That's one of his moves. Sonata cuts off Kojima before Kojima hits his elbow drop. Combo kicks and lariat from LIJ. The STO, or the Everything is Evil. I love the names of some wrestling moves, and Everything is Evil for evil. Alright. Countered into a DDT. Finley and Ricochet, they do a Death Valley driver into a backbreaker. That looked pretty cool. Bushi hits his MX on Ricochet. Springboard dropkick on Finley. Koji cutter from Kojima on Evil. Blocked Kojima lariat, and Kojima hits a Western lariat. Brainbuster to Sonata, but Bushi comes in and hits the mist. Darkness falls for a 2, but something I wish more people would do in wrestling. He hits a signature move for a near fall, and immediately gets him back up and hits his finish. The STO, Everything is Evil. Everything, Justin. Everything
is evil.
for the win, and LIJ are the new 6-man tag team champions, and thus begins a trend that we will see for the rest of the night, with big title matches having very interesting outcomes. I'll say I won't spoil it quite yet, but they have very interesting outcomes in all these title matches as it relates to the next title match. So LIJ are the new 6-man tag champions. What did you think of this match?
It was the gauntlet match, the big gauntlet match. I mean, it's hard to say, because when in New Japan, there's so many great singles and tag matches that when you throw a bunch of guys together, it just seems like there's not a lot. It just seems like there's a lot of impressive spots, like from Ricochet and Ospreay, but it's not a lot of story or interesting stuff going on. I think I actually split the show in the middle of this match, like stopped watching and then continued watching at some point. But for its purpose, it served it just fine. It's New Japan, so there wasn't anything really bad in it, but when you just compare it to the rest of everything else, it's just kind of a nothing match. I don't know if that's has anything to do with just the 6-man format or 6-man titles. It's just, I don't know.
Well, this is very much just to get everyone on the card match. Like, squeeze 12 people into one match so that we can get everyone a payday and everyone can see their favorite. It's very much just a nothing match. The never 6-man titles are the least important of all the titles, and that's saying something with the state of the junior tag division as we speak in 2018. So it was okay. Like I said, I would have liked to see more Will Ospreay. Ideally, I would have liked to see Ospreay and Ricochet wrestle. I mean, why couldn't you put the titles on Chaos here? They mean nothing, especially because I'll give you an example here. These titles have been in existence for a year at this point, and there's been 8 title changes in the past year. So you can put them on anybody and then just switch them on the next show. It doesn't matter. But it was fine for what it was. Nothing to write home about. Kind of one of those matches you have to get through to get to the good stuff. But yeah, it served its purpose in getting everyone on the show, and the result will serve its purpose for a storyline that will unfold throughout the night. So, yeah, thumbs in the middle. Didn't hate it, but would have liked to have... The show probably would have been better if we could skip this and go right to the next match.
Of course, the thumbs in the middle caveat is in relationship to New Japan. This was in no means a bad or boring match. It was just...
It's just pointless.
It doesn't mean much in terms of the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and there were a lot of kind of shit or past their prime workers here. Jado, he's like pushing 50 at this point. Bad Luck Fale, Yujiro Takahashi. Bushi's okay, but he's not special. Like, he doesn't do anything super interesting. So, a lot of guys who are just kind of there. So... Our next match of the night is two former WWE employees going one-on-one in a New Japan ring. This is weird.
Very interesting.
Juice Robinson taking on the debuting American Nightmare Cody, formerly known as Cody Rhodes.
I didn't know this was his debut.
Yep, from debut in New Japan. He debuted with Ring of Honor at Final Battle just last month and immediately joined the Bullet Club right after that. Cool. Came in as a babyface, turned heel mid-match. It was really good, actually.
Yeah.
The match was, it is a decent face versus face match, but the turn... If there's one thing you can say about Cody is he's great with the character work. He does a great job in that match, and he does a pretty good job here.
Speaking of character work, love Cody Rhodes taking his shirt and throwing it back up the ramp and not into the
nice. What exactly is happening here? Cody Rhodes left WWE in 2016, but he couldn't use the Rhodes name. It was a trademark by WWE, so he's just going by Cody now. He went to ROH, like I mentioned. He turned heel in his first match at Final Battle against Jay Lethal and joined Bullet Club shortly after that. He's making his debut here in New Japan here tonight. Juice Robinson was the former CJ Parker in NXT. He had sort of like an environmentalist gimmick, over the top, save the planet environmentalist gimmick. That's never going to get him over. Never went anywhere. He was released in April of 2015. But instead of just coasting off a name he made in NXT on the Indies, he joined the New Japan Young Alliance system.
Oh, wow.
He was at ringside for the Okada-Tanahashi match last year, actually, if you noticed him. He debuted in New Japan in September. He never went on an excursion, but he built a decent following for himself in New Japan, and this is his Tokyo Dome debut. He's a lovable underdog babyface here in Japan. So I have a couple notes here. Juice is just got a lovable attitude. He's so pumped to be in the Tokyo Dome. Like later in the match, he'll yell out, "I'm in the fucking Tokyo Dome!" It feels so genuine. And Cody even looks really excited to be here. And as they point out on commentary, this is the first time anyone's ever wrestled in a WrestleMania, a Final Battle, and a Wrestle Kingdom within a year. Also, you can throw in TNA's Bound for Glory there too. He did a short stint in TNA.
Huh. Good
So
stuff.
yeah, he's the first person ever to hit all those 4 big shows, like each company's biggest show of the year, in the space of 1 year. That's pretty incredible when you think about it. All right, so Cody pulls Juice's hair, who's in a dreadlock, so it's easy target, in the opening exchanges. Carino mentions that Bullet Club is full of alpha males right now, kind of hinting at dissension already. We got Adam Cole, Bebe, who we'll see later, Kenny Omega, and now Cody added to the group. This Bullet Club storyline of dissension wouldn't really unfold for a couple of months, even maybe a full year, but we're already starting to hint at it right now, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, I have that same thing written down. If you know New Japan is for long-term booking because of just little things like this, so yeah, it's pretty great.
That's the thing about New Japan. Everything matters. So Juice is tossed outside, and Cody goes for his springboard like flying nothing. Juice catches him and hits a big belly-to-belly on the outside. And this is where we get the "I'm in the fucking Tokyo Dome" from Juice.
Juice! Wow! Overhead belly-to-belly in front of us!
And off camera, because they're showing a replay of the belly-to-belly, Juice hits a cannonball into the guardrail, which looked like it sucked. We did get to see it on the replay, thankfully. But this will happen sometimes with New Japan, because it's... In WWE, for example, they have very set things. When you do a big move, you always sit and lie there so that they can show a replay and you can milk it for everything it's worth. That's not necessarily the case in New Japan, so they don't know when people are going to be doing nothing for a few seconds, so sometimes you'll get replays shown and completely miss what's happening live action. But it's few and far between, and I think it's a better presentation.
Yeah.
But that's just one man's opinion. Cody counters the punches from Juice, the Juice punches with the Alabama Slam, and stomps the knee. Springboard dropkick, and we get a nice smirk from Cody. He's got great facial expressions. Cody has words for Carino, and they kind of have a story in ROH. Back in ECW, Dusty Rhodes and Steve Carino had a bit of a feud. Don't really know much about it, but I know it was a thing. And they're working a storyline in Ring of Honor where Cody is kind of feuding with Steve Carino right now. So bringing that over here, interesting continuity. So, like I said, great character work. Juice, with a leg lariat, starts to make his comeback. There's a gut check from Juice that's kind of ugly. I think they're kind of on different pages here of what's going on, so it looks a bit ugly, but it's okay enough. For a 2 count, Cody kicks out. Then there's a chop block by Cody. Great selling by Juice. Juice is he goes to the top rope for a move later, and he's very slow to get there. And then he tries a crossbody, but Cody rolls through into an American Deathlock. but Juice gets the ropes. We get a disaster kick.
That misses by about 4 feet.
Yep.
Huge slap of the leg. If you pause it, it's at least like 6 inches, and Juice takes a bump.
Yeah.
It's funny.
And then across the top rope, a draping DDT. Lariat from Juice for a 2 count. Both guys are very loud and expressive. They're just shouting, talking a lot. Juice can't powerbomb Cody due to his knee, which is, I appreciate that. Little stories like that. His knee's too worn out to try the powerbomb. So he tries the pulp friction, but Cody counters it immediately into the crossroads, which is a swinging cutter from an reverse DDT position. And Cody wins, and immediately after the match gets in Carino's face and runs through the crowd.
Love the finish, honestly. Yeah. I love counters. Love counter finishes. So when you can counter one finisher into another, I love it.
Yeah. So I thought this match was okay. It was more of a WWE style match, which would make sense with 2 former WWE guys. But it was fine. Decent enough, safe enough. You don't want to botch horribly on your debut, so playing it safe, I can understand that with Cody. And Cody's kind of the wrestler to play it safe anyway. He doesn't take a bunch of big risks. He's talked about that before. So yeah, it was okay. Didn't hate it.
Yeah, I agree. I honestly forgot that this match was even on the card. When the graphic popped up, I was like, what? I didn't sign up for this. But yeah, I thought it was okay. Wasn't much. Good to get both these guys on the card. Good big singles match for both of them. Very important in both of their career trajectories. And I love Cody Rhodes as a heel.
Yeah.
He knows how to do it.
Yeah. There's kind of a weird thing where on some indies at this point he was still a babyface doing babyface Cody Rhodes. Like with this, for example, this is kind of a cool anecdote. Immediately after this, Cody flew 17 hours over to England to compete for WCPW at Kirby Mania was the event. Yeah, he did a promo after his match there. He talked about how he's been on a plane for 17 hours. I feel like shit, but just do me one favor, guys. Somebody please buy me a beer. And yeah, he's a really hard worker, and it's Cody's one of those weird people where you can have so much disdain for the character, but he's still a very likable and lovable person in real life. That's very difficult to do in today's wrestling, because they very much bleed over at this point.
Yeah.
Like, the character is the person is the character. So to have someone who can do both is kind of a rare thing.
Sometimes even just doing one is difficult to buy into a person's character. So it is to be able to buy into both the wrestling character and just the person behind them is good, and it's probably why All In did so well.
Yeah.
Out of here, baby! Out of here, baby! Out of here, baby! Out of here, baby!
So up next, we have the ROH World Title match. We have the challenger, Adam Cole, baby, taking on the champion, Kyle O'Reilly. So what we have here is a classic tag team breakup storyline. The two were tagging together as Future Shock in Ring of Honor, and they feuded off and on for about 5 years over in ROH. In that time, Cole won 2 ROH World Titles, and they had fought in a fight without honor at Final Battle last month, where Kyle O'Reilly finally won the big one and became Ring of Honor World Champion, and we have a rematch here tonight. First note I have here is Adam Cole's theme.
Adam Cole, baby. Adam Cole, baby.
It's so great.
Adam Cole. Weird things get over in Japan, and it's weird to see something get over in both Japan and America. But it's over in such a different way that they can just make a theme, and I think that's just Japanese culture. They literally just make a theme. I think it's great. It's
great. I hated his theme when I first heard it. I thought it sounded weird, but just hearing it over and over again, it's so great. So that's definitely going before this match. This is cool. They had Todd Sinclair,
yes,
the head official for Ring of Honor. They flew him in just for this match.
I really thought that was a nice touch. Honestly, I liked it.
Yeah, which is nice.
Because it's a pure Ring of Honor match, you know.
Mm-hmm. And they were wrestling under Ring of Honor rules, which are kind of similar to New Japan rules anyway. The 20 count. But I think the difference is I don't think titles can change hands on count out or disqualification. They can in New Japan. And then the Code of Honor. So they mentioned on commentary that there's never been a 3-time Ring of Honor World Champion, and Cole could do that tonight. There have been a couple of 2-time World Champions with Jay Briscoe and Austin Aries and Adam Cole. So yeah, Cole can make history tonight. Does he? Let's find out. I got to hear this too. I miss hearing Dance Away, the Red Dragon theme.
Yes.
So it was nice to hear that when O'Reilly came out. But I do have a note. O'Reilly's not nearly as good as a face. As a serious, tough guy babyface is not... like his promos weren't that great. I remember I was watching a bit of Ring of Honor at this time. His promos weren't great. He's in NXT right now as a heel with Undisputed Era. He's so great.
Oh, yeah.
He can be both a serious tough guy and a comedy heel, and he does both so well. So, not the greatest babyface here, but he's a great wrestler. So we get the Code of Honor, and Cole. They do apply the Code of Honor. They shake hands, but as they're shaking hands, Cole spits in O'Reilly's face. So O'Reilly starts off hot. He strikes Adam Cole with those like vicious like open hand palm strikes as he gets them out. Goes for the armbar, and then there's an immediate rope break. And Adam Cole keeps trying to do the Adam Cole, baby, but it keeps getting broken up with rear naked chokes.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. Kyle goes out to the floor, and Adam Cole finally gets to do his full Adam Cole, baby. Cole hits a chair shot to O'Reilly's shoulder around the ring post. So the story of the match is that he targets the shoulder, which I appreciate that every match, and we'll see it throughout the show. There's a different story. There's a different body part that's being targeted. You know, so they don't just repeat like, oh, my legs hurt, oh, my legs hurt, oh, my legs hurt. They take different body parts. Like this one is the shoulder. Last match we had the leg, and we'll see more things like that later on. There's the heat cut short for time. This match is only going about 10 minutes. Kyle rallies and kicks Adam Cole's leg out of his leg, which if you don't get that, he kicks him in the back of the leg, and Cole takes like a back bump, almost like a flipping bump. That's from Survivor Series, maybe not Survivor Series. I can't remember when exactly. Back in New Gen WWF when Owen Hart turns on Brett and kicks him in the leg, and he cuts a promo about why he did it afterwards, and then he stumbles right at the end. He goes, and that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg. So that's where that comes from. It would get Adam Cole hits the Ushigoroshi for a 2. This kind of annoys me. Kevin Kelly keeps calling it the last shot. I know it looks similar. The difference, the Ushigoroshi is the fireman carry into the drop the back of the neck over the knee, and his finisher, the last shot, is the suplex, the vertical suplex dropped over the knee into a brainbuster. They look similar, but they're from 2 different positions. So it annoys me when he calls the Ushigoroshi the last shot, because it's not his finish. You're burying his finish here. But, yeah.
Yeah, I think they did a little bit of that when he was in NXT, too. Like, they called the last shot his suplex neckbreaker thing, but then they also called it his Shining Wizard. So it's just a theme with his...
I think in NXT, I don't know which is which, but he does the Shining Wizard on bigger opponents, and if someone's about the same size as him, he'll do the suplex into the brainbuster, because he can pick people up with it. Guy only weighs like 210 pounds, so if he's got to face like, I don't know, Lars Sullivan, he's not going to do that move. But, yeah. At least I remember, I think some Ring of Honor shows, they kind of kayfabed it, that the last shot, the suplex variation, if you're going to go with both the last shot, that one's more powerful because you're dropping the guy directly down onto your knee. From the fireman carry, some of the momentum is going out, away from you. So I appreciate the kayfabe there. So we get a strike off, double bicycle kick.
Yes.
More strikes, the axe and smash, the stomp to the back of the head, and then the forearm smash. Great sell by Cole. O'Reilly hits a brainbuster for a 2 and transitions immediately into an armbar.
Love that stuff.
I know, it's great.
I love it when you do a move into a submission, and then also during this match they did a kick out into a submission. Like, I don't remember the spot, but he was pinning him, and then immediately as he kicks out, turns into a cross arm breaker. Samoa Joe does something like that with powerbomb pin into Boston Crab. Love all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And Cole stomps on his head to break the hold, which is nasty. And it looks even like... It always looks nasty. This one looked even nastier for some reason. Kyle can't apply a rear naked choke because his shoulder's too messed up. He can't hold it. So Cole hits a Shining Wizard for a 2, then hits the actual last shot, but O'Reilly kicks out for a 2. Ankle lock by O'Reilly. Cole escapes and attacks the shoulder. 3 super kicks from Cole. A 4th to the back of the head. And then finally a last shot for the win. And Adam Cole makes history, becomes a 3-time Ring of Honor World Champion. Something just real quick I like about this finish here, they do this a lot in New Japan where it's not a back and forth, and oh, I got my finisher out of nowhere and now I win. Cole dominated the last stretch of this match, and you see that a lot in these matches where someone will be winning for like the last 90 seconds, 2 minutes, and they'll just keep hitting big move after big move after big move, and then finally they'll just win. I appreciate that.
I mean, I would agree. I think it works both ways too. Like in the match later, it's kind of a back and forth, and then someone hits their finisher and they win. Which I like it if it's both ways. Like both ways work kayfabe wise to me, especially if the finishers are over the way they should be. So
you can do either one, but I think if you do the out of nowhere finish so much, then I think it kind of hurts the match, just because I think people are waiting for it.
It depends on how out of nowhere it is.
Yeah, and I just think it's predictable. Because if some guy's winning, you're just waiting for that moment. Like, if someone's winning for a long stretch of time, you're just waiting for that moment that someone counters, and then that's it. But if you have matches like this where a guy just beats him down and beats him down and beats him down and then wins, now you can do these out-of-nowhere finishes, and they mean more. And all these beatdowns mean more. So, yeah, that's just me.
I see where you're coming from. I guess the match I'm particularly thinking about is there was a lot of back and forth, and then they just hit it out in one. But if it's just someone's getting beat up, one move, finish, then I'm not a huge fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Roman Reigns match.
The
John Cena circa 2005-2010 match.
Yep.
So anyway, what did you think of this match?
I thought it was pretty good. I love Kyle O'Reilly. I think, even though as babyface he's not amazing, his in-ring work.
Yeah, there's no one that wrestles like him right now.
That's true. He's very strike heavy, and submission grappling based, but somehow can still make me buy in and also do cool spots and whatnot. Adam Cole is Adam Cole. He's a very good wrestler that focuses a lot on character.
He's very safe.
And he's very safe. But I thought the match, the story of the match worked with working over each person basically picked a body part to work over. And I think honestly the right person won. I think Adam Cole deserves to be the three-time Ring of Honor champion, and it just kind of extends the rivalry if need be.
Yeah. Speaking of that, actually, why did this change happen? It seems kind of weird that a different company would change their title at a show that's not even theirs. Well, actually, at this point, Kyle O'Reilly was not contracted to Ring of Honor, and he was on his way to the WWE, so they needed to get the title off him as soon as they could, so they put it on Adam Cole. And it would take a while for him to debut. There were some legal issues regarding potential contract tampering, negotiations happening while the performers were still under contract, so it's sort of a legal thing that held off his debut, and Adam Cole would get wrapped up in that when he would leave for NXT as well. But for now, he is the Ring of Honor World Champion for the third time, and yeah, I thought this was a good match. I have a huge Adam Cole mark.
Everyone loves Adam Cole.
I could see why Vince wanted this guy. If he was 6 inches taller, he would be WWE champion right now. Because he's pretty, he's a safe wrestler, he's got great catchphrases that always get over. I think he'll still do well, but like I said, if he was 6 inches taller, he would be the face of the company right now.
I agree. Everyone loves Adam Cole.
So right after this, we get a rundown of the big events for New Japan in 2017.
Big match schedule.
Yeah, I love over-the-top New Japan video packages, especially just for announcing dates.
They love their loud.
I appreciate the graphics. I don't know why. That might just be a cultural thing, but they're very good with their graphics. It's just cool. But yeah, I think this is the first time they announced the G1 special in USA on this show, so that's a big deal. They're running their first show in America since I believe 2012 when they did a brief tour on the East Coast. So yeah, we get the quick rundown of that, and now it's time for the real main event.
Guerrilla tactics, it's time for warfare. Yo, we came to battle, yo, we aim to kill.
So our next match is a 3-way tag team match for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. It's champions, the Guerrillas of Destiny, representing the Bullet Club, versus Great Bash Heel, Togi Makabe and Tomoaki Honma, versus representing Chaos, Tomohiro Ishii and Toru Yano. So how does this happen? They don't usually do multi-man matches in New Japan, so what's going on here? Well, Guerrillas of Destiny are the tag team champions, and Great Bash Heel won the World Tag League last month by beating the Guerrillas of Destiny in the finals. But Yano and Ishii snuck their way into the tag team match. They stole the tag team belts from Guerrillas of Destiny and the trophies for World Tag League from Great Bash Heel.
They did not. Toru Yano.
Toru Yano did. Tomohiro Ishii doesn't give a fuck about anything. He is the Stone Pitbull, which means you cannot hurt him, and he is stone-faced.
All the time.
Yeah. So Yano comes out and has the belts and trophies and DVD. His hands are quite full. He's selling his latest Chaos DVD, which is part of his thing. He's the Sublime Master's thief, for those who don't know. He will hit you in the nuts and roll you up for the win. He'll expose turnbuckles and throw you into them. It's very much a contrast with Ishii, who's this very stoic, straightforward brawler type character. Great Bash Heel are out next. The former IWGP champion, Togi Makabe, and his partner Tomoaki Honma. They won World Tag League last year, and they're back here for another title match. And the Guerrillas of Destiny are out last. They're kind of brawling characters. They're very much they're not very gimmicky. They're just kind of people. They're aggressive. They're loud. They're emotional, loud. I guess. So yeah, we'll get right into this. To start off, Tama, as he's coming out, Tama Tonga of the Guerrillas of Destiny. The other member is Tonga Loa, by the way, if we didn't mention that. Tama Tonga, he slithers on the ground around the ring to where Yano is standing and jumps him to start off the match, which I thought was great. Like, he literally crawls on his hands and slides around the side of the ring to sneak up on Yano. It was awesome. And they get him in the ring, and all four members of the opposing teams stomp Yano, which was hilarious because everyone hates him. He stole their trophies, he stole the titles. They wormed their way into this match they shouldn't be in. That's the thing with the story. Like, both teams are pissed off that this is a three-way match because it should be based on tradition. It should be one-on-one, the tag league winners versus the champions. But here we are in a three-way match. So it settles down into a tag match. Honma goes for the Kokeshi headbutt. He misses. We get our first curse from Tonga Loa. It's both. Either way. Sometimes it's Roa, sometimes it's Loa. Who knows? Yano tags himself in and exposes the turnbuckle and uses it as a weapon and immediately tags out to Ishii.
Using the turnbuckle as a weapon. That just does not seem very effective. But Yano loves to do it.
Because for those who don't know, the New Japan turnbuckles are just one big pad. Like in WWE, there are 3 different pads on each level of ropes. But it's just one pad all the way up and down the thing. So you can swing it at somebody and hit him in the face with it.
But it doesn't look like it does any damage. But he loves doing it.
Supposedly there's a metal bar down the middle of it that's supposed to hurt. But they look pretty bendy to me when they hit people. Kayfabe. I have a note here. Ishii deserves better.
Yeah.
Like, he's like the least important player in this tag storyline with Yano. And he's so great.
But he's probably the best wrestler in the match.
He is definitely the best wrestler in the match. He deserves so much better. He had a match with Shibata last year at Wrestle Kingdom 10. It was amazing. It was violence, and I wish he would get a bigger singles run. But it doesn't look like that'll be for a little while. Yano comes back in and tags out Tama. Makabe in from a Honma tag. More cursing. Carino is starting to lose it. He's starting to laugh. And GOT double team is turned back on them. There's a double 10 punch from GBH. That's where you get your opponent in the corner. You stand on the turnbuckle and you do 10 punches to the head while they're trapped in the corner. So they do 2 of those at once. Their timing's a bit out of sync, but you can't really look over your shoulder and punch at the same time.
And also closed fists are illegal in Japan, so that doubly makes it.
Yeah, that's why you gotta stand in the corner. You gotta hide it from the ref. So we get Makabe's Northern Light suplex with a bridge for 2. Tama uses his elusiveness. It looks really cool. He's sliding around the ring.
Running around, like it's like his version of running the ropes is like the coolest version of running the ropes ever. Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
And he jumps up and hits a DDT. Now we get into it. Our first big outburst of the match. Honma's giving Tonga Loa some chops. Fuck that shit! I hate you, motherfucker! Shit! It's, oh my god.
Thank you, Tonga Roa.
Yeah. Damn you! Eat shit! Oh my god, it's so great.
I don't know if they're just having a crack at them, like just have what they're doing, like they're trying to, I don't know if they're trying to get themselves over, if they're just goofing off, I don't know what it is, but it's rather hilarious.
So
and really kind of shows how this, like, what this match is about.
So Honma hits a running Kokeshi headbutt. Carino at this point has lost his mind. He's just laughing.
I think he's muted his mic a couple times.
Ishii comes in with a lariat. It kind of turns into a clusterfuck again. Everybody just hitting their moves. God gets control. And my favorite part of the match, Loa has one of the guys positioned for a power bomb. And right before he picks him up, eat shit! And then Carino just starts laughing. And then they power bomb him for a 2. There's a lariat by Makabe. Diving Kokeshi. It's broken up by Ishii at 2. And they mention at this point that this is where the third team dynamic kind of throws things off, because the diving Kokeshi headbutt is Honma's finisher, and if there hadn't been Ishii and Yano in this match, it's more than likely that GBH would have won this match at this point. So that's why these teams would be pissed off. It's like, we had this one, and because you're here, now we don't. Tama catches Honma with a cutter out of a running Kokeshi attempt, which looks pretty cool. Very RKO out of nowhere. And, of course, he gets up. Tama gets up. Fuck that shit! The Guerrilla Warfare, which is a single underhook, suplex elevated with both people, spin around into a side drop.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. But they do that on Makabe, who's not the legal man. Yano tags in, and there's more cluster. And for the finish, Yano hits a double low blow, and Ishii comes in with a double lariat, and Yano Schoolboys for the win, and the team that wasn't even supposed to be in this match, Yano and Ishii, steal the tag titles and leave with all of the trophies, only 2 of which are now theirs. They still don't own the tag league trophies, but they leave with those 2. So, what did you think of this match?
It was great. Everything, like, it's weird because it seems rather goofy, but it honestly kind of fits with the whole story, like that Yano and Ishii kind of brought in into the match. So I think just like the Guerrillas of Destiny just kind of going with it and just making it a laugh, it's just awesome. But even then, the match itself was still good. I think maybe I was only interested in it because of all the swearing going on, but they still, like, they as you said, the 3-team dynamic really changed things up and added a good story to the match. And was probably the best tag match on the show, to be honest. And of course, it was super fun to just watch and laugh with Steve Carino. Yeah.
I'm definitely splicing in the first New Japan Is Not For Kids somewhere in there. Because people, like, if you've never seen this, you need to see it. It's amazing.
As Tonga Loa pounds away. Whoa. Offense by defense.
Fuck that shit! I hate you, motherfucker! Shit!
Up for bid now.
Damn you! Eat shit!
Speak with the Rule Breakers Convention. An obscene amount of strength, Steve. Obscene is right.
Motherfucking yeah! Let's get this shit! Eat shit, motherfucker!
Got him!
What the fuck?
Putting the Chaos team to the side. And now, he... Kabam! Guts done!
Fuck that shit!
Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. I more so enjoyed it for the cursing and people losing their shit. It was it was a bit of fun before we get into the really big, serious main event matches, which are our next 4 and final 4 matches. So, fun match. I'm not 100%. Like, I'm not huge on the winners. I would have preferred Ishii get something better to do. But, you know, at least he's got a belt. They care about him enough to give him a belt.
That's true. And it also works for the story, to be honest. Like,
yeah. The Sublime Master Thief does it again.
Yep. I mean, Yano is not everyone's cup of tea, but at least they made it work in terms of the story of the match. So,
yeah, so not bad. Now let's get on to our big ones. The big 4 coming up next. Our next match is for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. It's the challenger returning from excursion, Hiromu Takahashi, versus the champion, Kushida!
Kushida!
You have to say it like that because Kushida's name is entirely capitalized. You have to say Kushida! Although we won't be doing that for the whole match. It'll get annoying. So, what's this all about? Hiromu Takahashi recently returned from excursion. For those who don't know, a young lion... We'll back up a little bit, is sort of the trainee wrestlers in New Japan. They get opening matches and they work in the dojo. They do the grunt work of running a show while they train. And when they reach a certain level, the dojo will send them out to other promotions around the world to learn, to grow as a human and as a wrestler. And after a while, they'll be brought back, usually with a new gimmick and with a lot of hype. And they go from there. And Hiromu Takahashi has just returned from his. He went on excursion for many years in CMLL, feuding with his eternal enemy, Dragon Lee, in which he has a very poor record against. That'll be a thing later in New Japan history. And finishing up with a brief run in Ring of Honor, both of those as Kaimatachi. He returned last month at Power Struggle under his real name, Hiromu Takahashi, and immediately challenged Kushida for the Tokyo Dome for the Junior Heavyweight title, and joined Los Ingobernables de Japón all on the same night. And Kushida likes Back to the Future. Yeah.
Something I actually like about the New Japan booking, they really try to make stars as soon as possible. Like, the way the Young Lion system works, trying to get the wrestlers to be as big as possible, but then as soon as they come back, they immediately try to push them, and I just think that's a really good way of doing it and make them look strong, and it's a common theme that you see a lot. You saw it with Okada when he came back, and you see it with a lot of returning Young Lions.
Yeah, and kayfabe-wise, it makes sense, because as Young Lions, if you've seen any New Japan shows, they always lose. Like, the only time a Young Lion can win is if they're wrestling in a match that has another Young Lion. That's the only way that a Young Lion can score a win. Otherwise, they're just there to lose. But if they leave for years and go learn how to wrestle in other places and grow as people and grow as wrestlers in kayfabe, when they come back, they're going to be a much better, much more talented wrestler. So now they can win. You can put him in these main event spots right away because this is a completely different person than the one you saw years ago. And when I say Kushida likes Back to the Future, that's pretty much all there is to his character. He's kind of a bland babyface, good guy. His only real distinct feature is that he likes Back to the Future. I think at Wrestle Kingdom, it might have been 8, a previous Wrestle Kingdom, he came out in a DeLorean, which was pretty cool. And he comes out dressed as Marty McFly, like with the jacket. But that's about all there is to him. But he's a very good wrestler, and this, spoiler alert, is a very good match. Coming out of the entryway, Hiromu pops out from the floor like Rey Mysterio did in the old SmackDown games, which was great. And it works for his ticking time bomb character, which is what he's developed. Is kind of a crazy maniac persona who can be just kind of calm and quirky at times, but when he explodes, when he goes nuts, he's like a danger to himself and everyone around him. It's a very interesting and captivating character, and he's got great promo skills because of it. So he pops out of the floor, goes very well with that. And the commentators, when Kushida comes out, I thought this is really interesting, that he's sort of partially responsible for our main event tonight. At last year's Wrestle Kingdom, he challenged Kenny Omega for the Junior Heavyweight Championship and defeated him. And the next night at New Year's Dash, Kenny Omega betrayed AJ Styles and declared himself a heavyweight and the leader of Bullet Club. And in tonight's show is in the main event challenging for the title. So if Kushida hadn't beaten Kenny Omega last year, it's possible that none of this would have ever happened. So I like that's the thing with New Japan. Everything is woven together. Like, one of the problems I have with WWE is that in almost every storyline, everyone is separated from each other. It's its own little world in the storyline. There's no continuity. It's almost like nothing outside this story exists. But in New Japan, everything is connected in some way. Like this.
Of course.
So, just a nice little touch that I like. So, kickoff, Hiromu ambushes Kushida in the corner. Kushida dives to the outside, and then the bell rings. So, Hiromu jumped in before the bell. Kushida dives out, and we officially get the match underway. Kushida targets the arm for the hoverboard lock, which is a Kimura lock. And he's in control early until sunset flip powerbomb to the outside turns things around. And, yeah. What do you think about that move?
Yeah, it's a move that looks awesome, but I'm scared every time I see it.
Yeah.
There's no great way to take it other than just to take it. It's weird because it's Hiromu's move, but for the most part, it's on the wrestler taking the move to make it look good, but also be safe. So it's kind of a weird thing that puts Hiromu over, but all of the threat is on the actual person who's doing it too. So I think it's almost an unfair move, to be honest.
It is a bit dangerous, but I don't think it's quite as bad as... I've never taken it, obviously, but I don't think it's quite as bad as some people say, because there are mats out there. And obviously you have the danger of, like, if your head hits the guardrail, you're going to get a concussion. If your neck snaps back, you're going to get a concussion. So you got to be careful. But I feel like taking a power bomb is something wrestlers can do pretty well. So maybe I'm totally wrong here. Maybe it's an unsafe move that should never be done again. But they at least treat it with respect, and he doesn't do this every match. So it's a big move.
It's meaningful.
It's the start of the heat here. Like this is what turns the entire match around for Hiromu and changes the dynamic of it.
That's true.
And it also lays out the story of the match and many Hiromu matches with Kushida especially. But Hiromu is not a better wrestler than Kushida. Kushida is the better wrestler, but Hiromu's offense is so devastating and so sudden, so dangerous, that if he hits one or two big moves, the entire thing can swing back in his favor. Like with this, Kushida dominated him in the opening segments, targeting his arm, but as soon as Hiromu hit the Sunset Flip Powerbomb, now it's all Hiromu. And he brings him back in, some disrespectful offense, some pie facing, some kicking, stuff just to rub it in your face. We go on the heat for a little while, and then there's kind of the botched Hurricane Rana that they tried to do over the top rope, where Hiromu tries to jump off the top rope and give Kushida a Rana to the outside, but they kind of just crumple on the mat. That looks bad.
It looks bad, but for some reason, when high spots get botched, I'm not... This one in particular, I was just kind of like, that would have been really hard to do. It doesn't take away from the match for me, just because it's one of those things that looks difficult, and the fact that he couldn't do it, but he still kind of made some sort of contact with him, it just doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. Something about it just doesn't take away. It
still looked like a seated senton, so it wasn't a bad move at the end. But it's just a shame. It was a transition anyway, so it wasn't a huge deal that got botched because Kushida just rolled to the outside anyway to set up my most scary spot in the match, where Hiromu does his suicide senton, which is basically just a cannonball. Like if you're jumping into a pool and you're doing a cannonball, that's what he does to someone standing on the floor. And Kushida does... I don't know if Hiromu overshot or if Kushida just had a bad night at the office, but he does a poor job of catching him, and Hiromu goes pretty splat on the floor.
But now he got him to the floor, but I don't think in the way that he wanted to. Oh, no, this is so dangerous! My God! Did you hear that?
Yeah, that looked like the worst of his night. I have here Hiromu dies in my notes.
But what I do love is after he takes the bump, he just gets up.
Yeah.
He's like...
Because he's a maniac.
Because he's a maniac.
Yeah.
I love it.
We get him back in the ring. There's a Meteora in the ring for a 2 count from Hiromu. And Kushida counters a second sunset bomb and catches Hiromu off the apron in an armbar. Like Hiromu tries to run and do a running drop kick off the apron, but Hiromu catches him in midair and locks in an armbar on the floor.
Great stuff.
Yeah, it looked really awesome. But I bet that sucks for both of them because Kushida has to jump and then take a back bump on the floor, and Hiromu's running and has to take a back bump on the floor. That must suck, but it looks awesome. So we get back inside. Kushida goes back to the arm. Hoverboard lock. But he fights and fights, and he gets to the ropes. But there's a rollback to the middle by Kushida, so he pulls him away from the ropes. But in that rollback, Kushida counters it into a time bomb attempt, but Kushida counters that for a near fall roll-up. Very good transitions back and forth. Back to the hoverboard lock from Kushida. There's a double down spot after Hiromu breaks it. Kushida comes charging into Hiromu, but he does a belly-to-belly suplex into the corner.
Love that spot.
And then picks him up to the top, and he does a victory roll from the top rope down to the mat. That looks like it sucks.
Ouch.
But that's only a 2. And this is another instance that I was talking about before of people just doing moves on moves on moves until they win. Death Valley Driver into the buckle and a time bomb for the 3. Your winner and new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, Hiromu Takahashi. Again, like I mentioned, another great finish where he just hits 4 big moves, back to belly in the corner, victory roll from the top, Death Valley driver to the buckle, and the time bomb, by the way, which is a fireman carry, spin him around into a sidewalk slam type move. So yeah, just 3 big moves in a row, and Hiromu gets the win. What did you think of this?
It was great. I mean, it's pretty much the classic junior heavyweight big title match. Kushida, ace of the junior division, pretty awesome. I love that Takahashi won. Again, kind of like Okada coming in his first match, winning the big thing from the ace of the division. I think that's a great way to get people over. And you're gonna build off this guy anyway, so why not give him the rub early? As for the match itself, it's hard for me because like there's so many great matches in New Japan that when I get to one like this, it was very good. And especially all of the junior matches I've watched lately has made it seem less than. But as a match by itself, it's still great stuff. Great back and forth. Love submissions in New Japan, like that hoverboard lock. Could win at any point, but it's still used as like a traditional submission spot. So you could think that he's about to tap, and it means just as much when he hits the ropes or breaks out of it. Love Takahashi. He'll only get better from here. Match itself, I thought was very good. It's just, as I said, it's hard for me to just compare this to other matches in New Japan.
What do you mean when you say not as good as other junior title matches you've seen recently?
I'm just talking about the finals of the Best of the Super Juniors.
Oh,
and like
so...
like with Ospreay and Skrull or Ospreay and other stuff. So
yeah, I thought it was a really great match, and the match I guess you're talking about now, as we're recording this, the Best of Super Juniors 2018 finals just happened with Taiji Ishimori and Hiromu Takahashi going at it. That was a hell of a match, so it's kind of difficult to compare.
It's so hard because there's so many great matches in New Japan that you see this one, you're like, man, this was really good. But we've got 3 matches left to go that are all considerably
on the same level or better.
I guess it's hard for me. And then of course when you have preferences about it, it's just like they're taking nothing away from the match itself. It was awesome. Just it doesn't give me the same feeling as some of the later matches on the card might.
Yeah. The only thing I can really complain about this is that you guys are going to kill each other, but on the other side of it, they only wrestle so many singles matches per year in New Japan, so you can afford to can get away with things like this, doing dangerous moves, because you only have to do them a handful of times a year. Like, I only think he's used that victory roll move like maybe once or twice since this. So it's he doesn't do these dangerous things that often. So it was a hell of a match, and thus begins possibly the greatest 4 consecutive matches in a row you will ever see in wrestling. I don't think we'll ever see a series of 4 matches back to back to back to back as good as these matches are going to be.
That's definitely the truth.
Great match, good start for Hiromu. Like you said, he'll only get better, and he's going to have some really good matches with some wrestlers later this year. Our next match is for the never openweight title. It's the challenger Hiroki Goto taking on the champion Katsuyori Shibata. So, what is the never openweight title? Just briefly, it was originally meant to be a young up and coming stars title, for the young guys to prove themselves before moving up to main event scene. But that kind of fell apart right away, and champions like Ishii and now Shibata have kind of redefined the title as a kick the shit out of you title, a strong style title. So that's the dynamic it has with it now. And tonight's match, Goto and Shibata, what's this about? Goto and Shibata have been friends since school. Goto's never really been able to win the big one. He's always been right there on the edge of becoming the champion, becoming the top star, but he can never do it. He's had, at this point, I believe, 8 chances to win the heavyweight title and has lost all of them.
Ouch.
And Shibata is upset at Goto. He doesn't think he displays the fire, the fighting spirit, the aggression that he needs. And they put this over on commentary that this match is a must-win for Goto. He has to prove himself that he can be these things that he needs to be. Meanwhile, Shibata, he left New Japan during the dark days when they were struggling financially and looking like they might go out of business to pursue a career in MMA. Unfortunately, that was not very successful for him. He returned in 2012 and was kind of seen as a traitor to the company because he abandoned them when they needed star power and great wrestling at the most, and he just left. So he's had to slowly work his way back up the card, earning people's respect, both the fans and the wrestlers, both in storyline and in reality. And now he's in the match that's third from the top on Wrestle Kingdom, fighting for a title. So he's done pretty well for himself in the past 5 years.
And something I love is that story continues on pretty much until he gets his IWGP Heavyweight Championship match. So
yeah,
that's great stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing about New Japan. They have these multiple-year-long stories that almost always have a satisfying conclusion in some way, and they get woven in and out of other storylines. They're very good at the long-term planning. So, and we can see that right here with Shibata as an example. First of all, it's nice to see Shibata again. It's been a while. We won't talk about that quite yet. We'll get to that show, but it's good to see him and hear his music.
I just love his music.
Mm-hmm. So at the start, they grapple for position, and they break on the ropes with a chop on Goto from Shibata to really kind of kick off, like, this is going to be a hard-hitting, grueling match.
And I think it's also kind of with the storyline, too. Shibata's trying to kind of fire up Goto a little bit with the not clean break, so it also fits in there. It's brilliant storytelling from all.
So there's more grappling, and Shibata goes for his PK, the penalty kick, just a big kick to the chest is his finish right away, but he misses, and then there's a standoff. And Shibata goes after the arm. I have here, damn it, D'Lo. There's one OSW reference. We just did a match where the story was someone was trying to target the arm. That's my only gripe. That's the only time I think that's happened on this show. But thankfully it doesn't really play into the finish in any major way, so it wasn't like the entire story of this match is the same as the entire story of the last match. It's only a brief moment, but still, come on, man. Like, could you not work over his leg? Well, the next match is kind of leg-based, so I guess you can do that. But, yeah, it's fine. Shibata controls the match after that. And then I have here, shit gets stiff.
Oh, yes it does.
Shibata forearms in the corner, Goto with a heel kick, Shibata with a knee drop, Goto Saito suplex, and an elbow drop for a 2. Kick from Goto to Shibata, but Shibata just invites more. He's just sitting there like, is that the best you got? Kick me harder, come on. So he kicks him more, and Shibata no-sells, and he's just powering through it, acting like it doesn't hurt. A forearm, and Shibata gets his corner drop kick, and we get an underhook suplex for a 2 from Shibata. Then there's a lariat exchange where they just won't go down. They just keep hitting each other with their arms and they won't fall. So there's a suplex trade where one guy suplexes the other, and then he immediately gets up and suplexes the other, and they go back and forth for a minute. And then finally there's a neck breaker by Goto.
That is probably the one, like, I have written here maybe too much no-selling, just that I just thought, like, I get the whole point is to beat each other up, but this was just the one small gripe I had with the match during that part specifically, is there wasn't much respite. And I thought it was a little bit over the top with the no-selling. I'm thinking of, like, Ishii, where he just does one big no-sell at the end of the match. It's, oh my god, this is awesome. But then when it's constant throughout the match, something just takes away a little bit from me. That's just my one small gripe from the match, though.
I see what you're saying, but I don't really mind this, because they do sell. They just sell after they're done suplexing each other, because the story with that spot is that hurt, but I'm going to prove I'm tougher than you. I'm going to get up and hit you with one. And then they'll respond, no, I'm tougher than you. I'm going to get up and give you another one. And then after a certain point, there's just so much damage done that they can't ignore the pain. They can't fight through it anymore, so they both collapse.
From what I remember, it was just a little... something about it was just a little bit too much with a little... I don't know.
I can understand both sides of it. I can understand why someone might not like this, but I really do like it, so yeah. I enjoyed that. Yeah, like I said, they do sell. It's not the traditional wrestling selling that many people are used to, where you'll take a move and then, show the effects of it immediately. So I can see why people might not like it. So Shibata catches a kick from Goto, and uses it to hit a leg trap German suplex, which Goto pops right back up from and hits a lariat. A second lariat is caught by Shibata for an STO, and we get a double down. Strike exchange. Ushigoroshi from... Yeah. Ushigoroshi from Goto, who invented the move, by the way. Also, Ushigoroshi, for those who don't know, is Bull Killer. And he got that name when Goto used the move on Hiroyoshi Tenzan. I can't remember his actual nickname, but it was something Bull or Bull something. And it actually injured him. So that's why the move is called the Bull Killer, Ushigoroshi. So he hits the Ushigoroshi, or he tries to use the Ushigoroshi rather, and it's countered into a choke by Shibata. Goto reaches for the ropes, but Shibata traps his arm to prevent him from getting a rope break. Great stuff. Goes to the ground, traps the legs, wraps him up, but Goto manages to get to the ropes. Then Goto hits the Ushigoroshi, which is nice because his finishing move, the GTR, targets the neck, so he's setting up for that. Goes for the GTR, which is a reverse DDT dropped into a back breaker over the knee, or a neck breaker almost. Either one. The GTR doesn't work, but he hits the Shotenkai for a 2. Shibata gets kicked again, but he pops right back up. Forearms, elbows, headbutts, all exchanged, fighting back and forth. Finally, Goto hits a reverse GTR where he drops his face across his knee, and then picks him back up, flips him the other way, hits a traditional GTR for the win, and new, never open weight champion, Hiroki Goto. What did you think of this, Justin?
Other than the thing I already talked about, I liked it because it was so different, right? Like, the junior match is just, it felt like a junior match, but this is the beat the shit out of your title, as you put it. So they just do all this classic New Japan strong style stuff, and it's very different from anything else on the card, which is super necessary in such a big and long card like this. But other than the minor complaint that I thought there may have been a little bit too much no-selling at certain points in the match, the story of seeing basically who can withstand the most and who can throw out the most was great. Nothing went wrong, no botches, and it didn't even seem like they hurt each other all that much. I have here, Ishii throws much safer headbutts than Shibata does. Like when they were doing that headbutt.
Oh god, the Shibata headbutt.
And it was great. Goto gets his not his moral victory, but his well-needed victory. Finally wins a big one, beating someone who thought he probably didn't have it in him. So I thought it was great.
Yeah, like you said, good story. Good for Goto. At this point, I don't know if it might be too late for Goto to finally win the big one. I hope he eventually gets his, even if it's just for a month, I hope he gets his title run because his story really needs him to. His IWGP heavyweight title run, that is. But even if he doesn't, he's had a good career. He's always had good matches, and even though he's not the most interesting character for me, I always enjoy Goto matches. I don't think I've seen a bad Goto match unless he's wrestling like, I don't know, Tokyo Pimp or something like that. So yeah, I really enjoyed the strong style stuff. Like we kind of went over that, how you weren't a huge fan of the no selling, and I very much loved it. This was one of my favorite matches of the night. It's basically a competition for second favorite match of the night between the previous match, this match, and the next match. But this one might be the front runner for that. So it was very good. I very much enjoyed it. And I look forward to more of these hard-hitting, stiff, never matches. They always deliver.
That's the truth. Speaking of hard-hitting never matches, they were talking about, commentary was talking about a match between Shibata and Kyle O'Reilly. Why have I not seen this match before?
You should. I remember this happening. I can't remember. I think, when was this? I remember it happening. I can't remember exactly when it was, but that did happen. I remember it being very, very stiff. That would be one I recommend for all you out there. For all none of you.
For all me.
All right, let's move on to our semi-main event. Our semi-main event is for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. The challenger is the ace Hiroshi Tanahashi versus the champion of Los Ingobernables de Japón, Tetsuya Naito. Now this is a story all about how Naito's life got turned upside down, so I'd like to take a minute. Please sit if you can. I'll tell you all about the ungovernables of Japan. G1 Climax 2013, Naito beats Tanahashi in the finals of the G1 Climax tournament, earning a title match at the Tokyo Dome show on January 4th against Kazuchika Okada. However, thanks to his bland character and weak-looking victories on the way to the Tokyo Dome, fans turned against him, epitomized by his final confrontation with Okada before the Dome met with deafening silence. New Japan panicked. They didn't want their main event of the Dome to be met with apathy or boos, so in desperation they turned to a fan vote to decide which match would main event the Tokyo Dome. It would either be Naito versus Okada for the heavyweight title, or Shinsuke Nakamura versus Hiroshi Tanahashi for the Intercontinental title. And the fans voted by a 2-1 margin for Nakamura and Tanahashi, bumping Naito out of the main event that he had earned last summer. Thanks to this, Naito was lost for almost a year, not really doing anything, just being in meaningless tag matches, until teaming up with La Sombra of CMLL in the World Tag League 2014. You may know him as NXT's, or actually now SmackDown's, Andrade Cien Almas. After a little more time passed, Naito decides to go on another excursion back to Mexico to join up with his buddy La Sombra. But at this point, La Sombra, along with Rush and La Mascara, had turned heel to form Los Ingobernables in Mexico, the Ungovernables. Naito joined Los Ingobernables in their rebellious and heelish ways. Returning to Japan, Naito brought his Los Ingobernables attitude back to Japan. Lazy, sarcastic, not really caring, doing all the things that traditional Puroresu fans hate. But because of his attitude and his complete disregard for what anybody thinks of him, some people started to get behind him. Eventually, throughout the rest of the year, he would recruit his own members of his own branch of the faction and rename it Los Ingobernables de Japón. He'd recruit the King of Darkness Evil and the Jet Black Death Mask Bushi to his team. Eventually, he'd earn another shot at the IWGP Heavyweight Championship by winning the 2016 New Japan Cup and challenging Okada at Invasion Attack 2016 for the gold. Culminating with the debut of Sonata, Naito and his goons overwhelmed the champion, and he took the title off of the Rainmaker. Unfortunately, this was going to be short-lived, as he lost the title back to the Rainmaker in June at Dominion. After this, Naito set his sights on another prize, the Intercontinental Championship. Not because he wants the title, or what it means, but because he wants to destroy it. He wants his revenge, because this is the title that cost him his Wrestle Kingdom main event. This is the title that stole the match that he earned. So he defeated Michael Elgin for the title in the fall of 2016 and has been giving zero fucks about the belt since then. Dropping it on the ground, kicking it to the ring, throwing it in the air. And Hiroshi Tanahashi, as a face of the company, is stepping in to try to take the title away from him and back to somebody who cares about it. So here, at the biggest show of the year, we have Naito defending the title that stole his spot at Wrestle Kingdom 8, taking on the man who he could never live up to. So the first note I have here is that fans are chanting for Naito before the video packages even come up. This guy is so over.
It's a weird way of getting over, because I don't know what it is, if it's just him, his attitude and the way he portrays it being awesome, or if people actually get behind him as someone that the big corporations looked down upon and kind of threw to the wayside, or what it is. But somehow this character got over, and it's awesome because he's awesome. Mm-hmm. And he's arguably more over than the ace of the company, probably the best babyface of all time, Hiroshi Tanahashi. So it's very, very interesting and weird.
So they have actor Ken Yasuda out there as like a special ambassador and ring announcer for this match. I don't know exactly why, but he was there.
I do have a note. The guy who announced Ken Yasuda to the ring kind of looked like Tanahashi with his like weird hair. I don't know if you noticed him.
Maybe
he had like Tanahashi hair and his face kind of looks everywhere. So that was fun. Yeah.
I also have even in Japanese, the video packages in New Japan are great.
Oh yeah,
it's very easy to understand the story even though you don't speak the language. So they do a very good job. This is also the first night Tanahashi debuted his new Love and Energy theme, the Go Ace theme. What did you think about that? Did you like the theme?
I mostly because I didn't hear much of his first theme. I didn't mind it that much. It kind of has an Adam Cole baby feel to it, but eventually,
Or the more you listen to it, the more you like it.
That and just the fact that it's just saying words in the song. But I didn't mind it. I haven't listened to his first theme in a while, but I don't think there's much wrong with it personally.
Yeah, I hated it at first because his old theme, the High Energy, was awesome. Like, it was one of the best themes ever. And yeah, but kind of like you were saying, the more I listened to it, the more I liked it. So I'm cool with it now. But I remember at the time not liking it. Interesting note here, this is the first time in 7 years that Tanahashi isn't in the main event of the Tokyo Dome show.
Yes.
And in the build-up, they mentioned that he lobbied potentially to have another fan vote to decide which is the main event of the show. And wouldn't it be ironic if Naito got his main event because Tanahashi was in the match? But there was no fan vote, and Tana is going to have to fight on the undercard for the first time in 7 years. And one last note before the match, or a couple things before the match starts. Naito's suit, awesome, the maroon thing, and his video package when he comes out with the eye on the Titantron is cool, and I think it's a perfect kind of full circle moment, because at Wrestle Kingdom 8 he wasn't good enough to be the main event of that show, but now here at Wrestle Kingdom 11 the show through the construction of the set is literally made for him. For those who didn't see this show or haven't seen the show, the top of it is like a oval shape or like an eyeball, and it was specifically for when Naito came out they could do his eye graphic on that screen when he came out. So it's just a cool full circle moment. Like, he wasn't good enough for this stage, and now the stage is trying to be good enough for him. So right at the start, crowd explodes for the bell.
As Naito is.
There's the bell, and here we go. The MVP for 2016, Tetsuya Naito. The ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi. They battle here at Wrestle Kingdom 11 for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship.
Like, it's kind of a weird thing in Japan how they're very quiet until the bell rings, and when they want to care about a match, they'll go crazy. Like, you're not allowed to say anything until the bell rings and then go nuts. Yeah, crowd explodes at the bell.
I think part of it was because Naito, his tranquilo attitude, he takes forever to get to the ring. Like, he did a full lap, I think, around the ring before he got in. It's just great character work, and also kind of can get under Tanahashi's skin, and we'll kind of see that later. Loved him messing with Ken Usada a little bit before he got in. That I thought was awesome. But the bell has rung, so we should get on with the match.
Yeah. So Naito does his fake lockup, where he looks like he's going to lock up and just walks away. He does that twice.
He's too good for lockups. I love it.
Right. Yeah. Then he does a real one. Tana gets thrown outside, and Naito does his fake dive and do his roll into the tranquilo laying on the ground pose.
Yeah, and I think before, the first real lockup, Tana doesn't do a clean break, which I think is interesting to show how much he cares about the belt and how Naito's kind of got under his skin, because normally a huge babyface like Tanahashi wouldn't do that. Yeah. So
that's a note I have next. Yeah, Naito, his attitude is kind of causing Tanahashi to cheat. He's doing some hair pulling and some dirty breaks in the corner, like he'll hit him before he breaks when they get into the corner. And it's shown that Tanahashi can have a dark side in some of the previous feuds with Okada. So Naito's bringing that dark side of Tanahashi out. Naito gets control with a drop kick to the back of Tana's knee, and Naito will target the knee for the rest of the match. Tana tries to rally, but Naito spits in his face, and that causes him to get briefly distracted, and Naito goes back to the knee. Tana gets some offense, he goes after Naito's knee, and Naito has had knee problems for years. Going after the knee is good in storyline, and if this was a shoot, it'd be good in reality. And Naito spits to gain the advantage again. But Tana gets his dragon screw
I thought about doing a Tanahashi Dragon Screw counter, but there wasn't enough.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough.
Yeah, so Tana gets his Dragon Screw in the ropes, and then a nasty-looking sling blade on the apron.
Ouch.
I think you and I have talked about this before. Naito must just hate his neck.
He loves bumping on his neck. Don't know what it is. He loves it.
Last year at Wrestle Kingdom 10, he took a Code Red off the middle rope from Goto, landed right in the back of his head. This guy is insane. So a high fly flow, Tana's finisher, to the floor.
Basically a cross. Yeah. This version was basically a crossbody where Naito caught him.
Yeah. Great selling by both I have here. Naito stumbles to the ropes. Tana falls. Super Frankensteiner and a German suplex with a bridge for a 2 from Naito. And then he hits the Gloria, which is like a reverse DDT, scoop him into like a side power slam for a 2. Back and forth till Naito hooks a leg submission. I don't know if it has a name. It's just like he puts one arm under the back of his knee and then uses the other to like pull on the leg. So I don't know what it's called, but he puts on the leg submission. Tana reverses into the clover leaf, which was pretty cool, and then Naito gets a break. Naito tries to whip Tana into the ropes, but Tana pulls him back for a sling blade, and then another sling blade for a 2. Naito's a bit slow to get into position for the high fly flow crossbody. Like he's on the ground, and Tana's just like standing on the top rope for ages, waiting for him to get up. So a bit slow there. So he hits the crossbody high fly flow, but he goes for a second one that misses. Naito hits a Destino, goes for a second one, but this one's countered by Tanahashi into a twist and shout, which is the swinging neck breaker, for a double down. Strike exchange. Both go after each other's knees, kicking at each other's legs. Dragon suplex by Tanahashi for a 2. Tanahashi hits a high fly flow to the back. The second one he goes for, Naito gets the knees up. Naito fights back for a Destino from the ropes for a 2. Naito immediately wastes no time, picks him right back up and hits a second Destino for the 3 and the win. And for the first time tonight, still the IC champion, still the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Tetsuya Naito. And immediately cut to the crowd with heartbroken Tanahashi.
I love that.
Yeah.
That was good.
What did you think of this match?
It was, like, I literally have here, it was hard to watch and take notes because of the story and the emotion of the match. Like, I felt a lot of times like because I had to sit down and write stuff down, I was kind of taken out of a really good drama of the match. And I think that just goes to show how you don't want to miss a single thing. Great.
I don't want to miss a thing.
No, I did not. Great storyline for the incoming of the match. Super long build. Naito's character, probably my second favorite wrestler, just because you can tell who he is and you don't have to hear him speak at all. You know exactly what kind of character he is. But just everything about it. Tanahashi is great. Lots of good back and forth. Great selling of the limbs and working over each other. And then, of course, it plays into the match quite a bit. Not much to say other than it's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what I can add to that, because it's a great match. It's a conclusion to... Not really the conclusion. They'll continue to wrestle a little bit. But this is sort of the climactic point of... what is it? 3.5, 4 year storyline between these two.
Mm-hmm.
They even... I think they had their first match back in 2011. So this is many years coming for Naito to finally surpass Tanahashi here at Wrestle Kingdom. So this is a big climactic moment, a great match. They told a great story. I love both of these guys. The future is nothing but bright for Naito now that he's thrown this monkey off his back.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know what more I can add to that. You are spot on.
Other
Great
than the
match.
stuff that happens after the match.
And it's a damn shame for what's for what's coming next.
Yeah, and I love post-match. Naito throws belts in the air, gets cheered for it. Everyone loves it. And I love how he just leaves the belt in the ring. He really doesn't care about it. Naito does great things that you don't really see a lot of heels do. It's just...
I remember seeing when he first did that with the heavyweight title in March or spring, I think it might have been March of 2016, and I immediately thought, how has nobody stole this?
Yeah, how has no one...
It's been 2 years since he first threw a belt in the air. How has nobody in the West stole this? Because this is great. Nobody throws belts around like this that actively hates a belt or doesn't care about a belt. I don't know why nobody's stolen this.
Yeah, it's true. One other thing, I think at the end, Naito actually bows to Tanahashi at the end. I wasn't 100% sure if that's actually what it was, but it looked like that's what he did. Showing some kind of sign of respect and his slow eventual turn to just babyface.
I didn't catch that. I don't know.
It seemed like he did bow at the end. Whether it was to Tanahashi or what, it just kind of seemed like it was. I'd have to look back on it.
I'd have to go back and watch because I didn't catch that. I don't know if that would fit with his character very much, but it could just be more. It could be sarcastic for all we know.
Yeah,
like it's like, oh yes, senpai, what a great match. Thank you for teaching me. Middle finger. So yeah, great match, great story for Naito. Excited for where he goes from here, and like I said, it's a damn shame for what's about to come next, because if it wasn't for what's about to happen, this could be the match of the year.
Oh, well, there are a lot of matches that could be matched here. Anyway.
Yeah, but, it's time to move on to our main event. Ladies and gentlemen, your main event of the evening is for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. It is scheduled for one fall with a 60-minute time limit. Introducing first, the challenger from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. He is the cleaner. He is the winner of the 26th G1 Climax. He is the leader of the Bullet Club, Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is the leader of the villainous Bullet Club faction. Flashback 364 days ago, Kenny Omega was just the junior heavyweight member of the Bullet Club, but he usurped the leader AJ Styles, dropping him on his head with a one-winged angel, moving to heavyweight and taking the crown of leader for himself. And he has had an amazing year since then. 2 reigns with the Never Six-Man Tag Team titles with the Young Bucks, and a reign with the Intercontinental Championship, and he beat Tanahashi to win that. He'll do whatever it takes to win, and is obsessed with proving that he is the best. Earlier this year, the summer of 2016, he won the grueling G1 Climax tournament, a round-robin tournament with 10 participants in one block, 10 participants in the other. Whoever has the most points in each block advances to the finals. The winner of that match gets the main event of the Tokyo Dome. And Kenny became the first Westerner, the first Canadian to win the G1 Climax, earning the shot at Wrestle Kingdom tonight. And here he is. Kenny's gear. Awesome Terminator theme.
Yeah, no, is Kenny Omega the coolest man in wrestling? That is the question that I think was answered tonight.
It's possible.
The answer is yes.
He did a way better Terminator-themed entrance than...
Triple H did.
Than Triple H. You remember Triple H? So, he had the long video package of, like, Terminator searching for his target, and, it's Sting, I found you. And they had Arnie there. It's time to play the game. WrestleMania. Then he comes out with his huge Terminator shoulder pads, but the camera, like, it needs a pole to hold it up. But the camera work is so weird that it looks like he just has a pole stuck up his ass.
Just stick to Kenny. Keep the Terminator gimmick. Don't let anyone else do it for you.
Oh my god, how much do you think this cost for New Japan? It had to be so much cheaper than you had to get Arnie. You had to have a bunch of extras. You had to have all these Terminator props. You needed to have your graphics department make that video.
It was better and cooler. Like, come on, man. Shotgun to the ring was a nice touch.
Yeah, the prop shotgun was cool. His opponent from Tokyo, Japan. He is the new ace of New Japan Pro Wrestling. He is the Rainmaker. He is the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Kazuchika Okada. Now, Okada just concluded his long rivalry with Hiroshi Tanahashi and became the new ace of New Japan after defeating Tanahashi at last year's Wrestle Kingdom to retain the IWGP Heavyweight title. He briefly, as I mentioned earlier, lost the title to Tetsuya Naito, but only for a couple of months. He won it back in June and has only defended it once since then against Naomichi Marufuji, who defeated him in the G1 Climax, but hasn't really struggled much since then. He's been quite a dominant champion through most of his years. The only real slip-up that he's had is with Tanahashi, but now he's conquered that, and it's on to new rivalries and new challenges for him. So Okada's entrance is great. A lot of Okada dollars, looks really cool. I love that epic intro music that they had. I'll probably splice that in here.
Yeah, my spooters from the ground shooting out Okada bars. Loved it. It made me happy.
Yeah. So I have here that I noticed this. The commentators didn't really point it out, but after they get in the ring and they get ready, Kenny is holding an Okada dollar in his hand that has fallen from his feet, and he crumples it up in his hand.
Good stuff.
It's like very good visual, just good stuff. Like simple stuff, good stuff though. So we'll kick off this epic match.
We're in it for the long haul, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
This is gonna be big.
So they start out with some grappling, and Kenny targets Okada's neck. And they start off with some running the ropes as well, and some early finisher attempts, but nobody hits. And Kenny concludes that sequence and spits at Okada, and then ducks outside like a dirty heel. He spits and then runs away.
Love it.
Great heel work by Kenny. And then there's some fighting on the outside. Okada hits his draping DDT over the barricade to the floor, and Okada pulls a Devon. He gets the tables, which is a very weird thing in Japan. They don't do that very often. Like, they don't have gimmicks like tables, chairs, all that much. And it was the Japanese wrestler who pulled out the table. And it's in retaliation for on the Road 2 shows, the last show before the Dome, Kenny Omega overwhelmed him with all the Bullet Club members and put Okada through a table with a one-winged angel. So it's Okada trying to get his revenge here.
Makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely stuff.
Mm-hmm. And Okada hits his crossbody over the guardrail, which always looks cool.
Love it.
And Okada controls the match for a while. Omega regains the advantage and moves down to Okada's back. And they'll tell this great story throughout the match, and the commentators really put this over, of Kenny working his way along the back of Okada, like hitting it with forearm shivers, and just beating it down, because his finisher, the one-winged angel, is an electric chair hold, where he's holding him on the shoulders, and he'll drop him down on the back of his neck and on his back. And as they point out, it's a very compact move, so there's nowhere really for you to go to spread your weight out. So if he drops you on your head and you've been worn down throughout your entire upper back into your neck, it's going to be even more effective and will probably end the match. They also put over the strength of the one-winged angel, too. It's a very devastating move, which will be a theme throughout this entire year. Kenny works on several parts of the back. Oh, I have here that it reminded me of that episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Drill. Do you remember that episode where they're trying to take down the drill from the inside? So they have to, but they can't spend all their energy trying to take out every support, so they only do some damage to supports and then hit it with one big attack from the outside and break the whole thing.
In reference to what?
Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, Kenny's working over the back. So he's working.
Okay.
He's doing a little damage to the neck, a little damage to the upper back, a little damage to the lower back, and then when he drops you with the one-winged angel, bam! That's everything's just gonna go. So that's how my mind works. Avatar: The Last Airbender, ladies and gentlemen. So Kenny does his Terminator dive, just a somersault.
Hold on,
to
back
the
up.
outside.
Most important spot of the match: Kenny Omega or Kazuchika Okada. Honestly, don't remember who it was. Did a kitchen sink.
A kitchen sink.
And it made me very happy.
The knee to the stomach.
I love that move. I don't know why.
So Kenny hits his Terminator dive, which is just a somersault dive to the outside. There's great camera work shot from the floor, so it emphasizes the height and the distance traveled. Looks great. And Kenny slams Okada into the apron, working over his back some more. Gets him back in the ring, and here's the first of probably 3 moves that people cringe at in this match. The murder drop kick to the back of Okada's head. Oh my god.
It's very scary, and I think probably was okay in this particular instance. Like, nothing really bad happened. But at least he makes the most of it and continues to use that move, but not kick people in the back of the head. We'll kick them in, like, the shoulder or, like, the back or just...
Yeah, because I think I talked about it with you briefly before. You can do something like that if it looks dangerous once. Now you don't have to do it dangerous anymore, and it will still be as over as it was when you did it dangerously. Because people remember, oh my god, remember that time you killed Okada with that dropkick? Even if you're just kicking him in the back and it doesn't hurt at all, people will remember that kick and think, oh my god, that killed him last time.
Yeah, at least they made use out of the dangerous spot going forward, which is nice.
And even with his bell probably getting rocked, Okada, being a smart wrestler, realizes that probably looked really devastating and doesn't kick out. He grabs the ropes to break the pin.
Great stuff.
So, nice job,
Epic
Okada. Okada starts to rally. He locks in the red ink, and Steve Corino forgets the name of it, and is reminded a few minutes later by Twitter.
Again, gonna have to back up before the red ink. Best wrestler in the world hits a flapjack.
Yep.
And makes me mark out insanely hard.
It's a flapjack. Yep.
I love the fact that he does it. Anyway.
Yeah. So he gets in the red ink, but Kenny gets to the ropes. We get the reverse neck breaker, which is the air raid crash into the knee. Get the Rainmaker elbow drop that's countered with knees up. And Kenny hits a pump handle backbreaker. And he drop kicks Okada, who's standing on the outside. He does a running baseball slide drop kick and knocks Okada over the guardrail. And then Kenny hits a massive golden triangle moonsault over the railing. And I have here that, I think I told you about it, Matt kind of saves Kenny. He wasn't in any real danger, but Matt Jackson and the Young Bucks had come out to ringside. They don't really play a part in this match, which is why we didn't mention them. But Matt Jackson's out there, and he kind of, as Kenny's coming back with the moonsault, going over the guardrail, he kind of puts his hand under Kenny's chin to prevent Kenny's head from hitting the guardrail and like knocking his teeth out or breaking his jaw or something. I
just thought they pulled the barricade, but
they did do that as well.
That's crazy dangerous spot. But it looks good and it was safe.
Because Kenny's amazing.
He got over it. He's great.
So Kenny gets that table that Okada took out, puts it on top of him, and does a running double stomp off the table. Gets him back in the ring, hits a power bomb for a 2. Picks him back up with a deadlift Dr. Wiley bomb, which is the gut wrench power bomb, for another 2 count. Young Bucks on the outside set up the table, and it's parallel with the edge of the ring. Kenny tries the one-winged angel, but Red Shoes stops him from doing that.
I love that. Red Shoes is I love that. Red Shoes is great. He does that a couple times.
Yeah.
He just prevents the move that could seriously injure or hurt somebody.
And it makes sense because you're on the outside. You're supposed to be in the ring. Get back in here. 2, you're trying to do a move for an object, which could seriously hurt somebody, and this shouldn't even really be legal, so I'm not letting that happen. So I appreciate when refs get a little bit of credibility, but they don't overshadow. Like that didn't overshadow the match. Yeah. But you get to see like the rules are upheld.
The rules are upheld, and Red Shoes has that credibility, so that's awesome.
Yeah. So they do a couple of teased table spots. We get back in the ring. Kenny hits 3 knife-edge chops.
The meatiest chops in the business.
Then hits the ropes, and we get the backdrop. Okada throws Kenny over the top rope, out to the floor, crashing through the table. Ouch.
Ouch, but yet still seemed like the safest it possibly could have been. The table broke all the way. It must have hurt. They were all pretty safe. They had the Bucks out there helping out, make sure the guardrail doesn't get hurt. Awesome spot, and probably the turning point of the match where it starts to pick up. Everything before that was kind of like feel each other out spots, other than the like big drop kick to the back of the head. Yeah.
And not that it was bad. It was just when someone goes to the table, the match, you can tell that it goes into overdrive.
Oh yeah, and it was. There were 2. I noticed 2 turning points of the match that like elevated to the heights that it has achieved, and that was one of them.
Yeah, this is into the next gear, and there'll be a moment later. I think I know which one you're talking about, where it'll be the next gear after that. So we get a long count on the outside. Okada brings him back in, and then I have here super springboard drop kick.
Oh,
which is
Kenny
great.
is he takes those shotgun missile drop kicks so well. He just flies back.
It looks like Okada like punched right through his chest.
It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he sold that great. Okada hits the elbow drop he tried earlier. We get the Rainmaker pose.
Rainmaker pose.
But Kenny fights out of the Rainmaker. Fights into the corner. They battle to the top rope. The fight and tease for a while, and then finally Kenny hits that dragon suplex. Spot number 3 that looked like somebody died.
Yeah.
The replay was even worse, because I thought for a second when he does the dragon suplex...
the replay was worse.
The dragon suplex, by the way, is a full Nelson, and you basically just throw the guy over your head. Most of the time, you have to land right on your neck or upper back to take that move. So Kenny does this dragon off the top, and we're thinking, oh, well, there's enough room, maybe, that Okada can get over onto his stomach, and it won't hurt that much, but it'll still look cool. Nope, lands right on the top of his head, and crumbles to the mat. Somehow Okada did not have a broken neck after that.
It was insane. Somehow he's okay. And again, a dangerous spot that they use in later accounts of just teasing and stuff.
They haven't done that since, but because people remember that spot, they can tease that and get a huge rise out of people. Like, are they going to try to kill each other again?
That's great stuff.
And we get your favorite move.
Away Shoto! Probably peaked the mic, but that's okay.
You did, but it's an Aoi Shoto. So you get to do that.
That doesn't even happen until the third match. I'm already bringing it up now.
It's a cross leg, stalling suplex into drop over the knee for a neck breaker. And Kenny misses a V-trigger, and Okada gives him a German, goes for the Rainmaker, but it's countered. Kenny hits a V-trigger, but running back again, Okada hits a drop kick to take the advantage back. Counter the Rainmaker again into a knee strike. Kenny hits a reverse Rana, V-trigger, goes for the one-winged angel, but Okada lands on his feet. Tombstone pile driver, pulls Kenny up, Rainmaker!
Rainmaker!
Kenny put him away! Here we go! One-winged angel! No! Somehow he lands on his feet! Tombstone! Does he have enough? Rainmaker!
Omega kicks out, and Okada's face here is great.
It's awesome, and this is the only real big near fall of the match.
Where it's like you bought that this is the end.
Yes, and it's just something. This was the other point I was talking about, that things go into like 5th, 7th gear or whatever. Is because I would think in a normal Okada match that would be the finish, and that would still be a great match. But it continues on and is even better after that. Mm-hmm. It's great near fall and great more to come.
Yeah, Okada's face here when he starts to sit up after Kenny kicks out. By the way, Kenny kicking out, he's only the 3rd person ever to kick out of the Rainmaker at this point. So
really? Wow.
Tanahashi and Naito are the only 2 people ever to kick out of it. Okada's face just kind of tells us, like, I'm going to have to kill this guy, aren't I? He's not, like, shocked. Like, that's one thing I hate. I hate shocked kick-out face. When people kick out of big moves, and the guy who was pinning is just like, oh my god, I can't believe he did that. What am I going to do now? He's just like, well, I'm going to have to kill this guy. So Kenny fights up to his feet. He gets hit with a shotgun drop kick into the corner from Okada. Again, yeah, he sells it great. The Tombstone, Okada goes for again. It's reversed by Kenny, though, into a package Tombstone pile driver. Gets a deep cover for a 2 count. Turns it to a slugfest. They're just hitting forearm after forearm after forearm. Kenny ducks, hits a Snapdragon suplex, and a V-trigger for a 2. V-trigger again. One-winged angel attempt again, but it's reversed by Okada into a short arm Rainmaker and a double down, and he maintains wrist control. Yes.
And at this point, it says 45 minutes, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
This has not been 45 minutes, but truth to be told, it has.
So they get up slowly. Kenny tries to fight to break the grasp for the Rainmaker. He hits him with 3 knee strikes to try to break it, but he can't do it. Okada fires up and hits another Rainmaker. And Okada goes for the full Rainmaker this time, but Omega ducks. Okada goes for the Tombstone, but Kenny escapes, pushes him into the ropes, and Kenny hits a drop kick of his own. Kenny does his Rainmaker pose and pulls Okada up. does the wrist clutch, spins him out, and we get the debut of the Rain Trigger, the spin him out ripcord into the jumping knee strike. It looks great. Goes for the one-winged angel again, but it's reversed into the spinning tombstone pile driver and the big Rainmaker.
Here we go! Up on the shoulders! One wing! No! Jumping tombstone!
Okada wins the 46-minute main event match. Holy shit.
Oh, it's so good.
Great crowd reactions from this. People on their feet. People amazed.
I literally...
Amazing.
This was the only time in the entire show where I got behind on my notes trying to keep up with these spots. Like, it was insane. So many great counters. Awesome finish. Amazing.
Yeah. There's really not much to say. The last 8 minutes of this match were some of the best wrestling that's ever been, really. It's great.
And it's not even just that. It's all the stuff leading up to it and all the stuff before it really heightens the desperation and how are they still going and all this stuff. And it's just so many great counters. Like, the counter game in this match is second to none. All of their moves feel big. All of Kenny's V-triggers look super devastating and amazing. It's like no two opponents could counter each other so well and have each move feel like it could end the match like these two. It's insane.
Exactly. The last 8 minutes is incredible, but the build to that was also very well done. It may be a bit slow for some people at the beginning, but it all meant something by the end of the match. There's really not much more to say. This is quite possibly... Like, you could make an argument this is the greatest match of all time. And over the next year and a half, it'll get even more steep competition.
It'll get challenged, but...
Yes, this is... When I saw it, I think this was the greatest match I've ever seen as it happened.
I didn't think that at first, because I wanted Kenny to win so bad the first time.
I was sad when Kenny didn't win.
Think about it in terms of the match quality, and then I watched it back again, and I'm like, this was bloody amazing. Like, so... And especially with where it's gone since, I have not felt... this match has gotten even better in my mind, so...
Yeah, it's... From where we'll go from here, this is a great first chapter for what we'll see in the future.
Oh.
So, Okada cuts promo with Gato after the match, as is tradition. I love that their presentation after a title match. Like, they have the victory music playing as the champion will get the belt put around his waist. They really make the winner look triumphant and the loser look defeated as they get, like, shots of the loser walking away. It's one of the many things of their presentation that makes them great. So Okada does his traditional 3 things promo. He ends it by saying he's going to continue to make it rain. Heads up the ramp, and we are out.
We say goodnight from Wrestle Kingdom 11. For Steve Corino, I'm Kevin Kelly. Thanks for joining us. Wrestle Kingdom 11 here on NJPWWorld.com.
So, what did you think of this show as a whole?
Best wrestling show I had watched up to that point, probably. It was long. Watching it my first time, I didn't really have that much of a problem completing the whole thing at once, just because of the way it's structured and how some matches don't mean as much. You can kind of zone out, which I know isn't great when it comes to a show, but it's like the Juice and Cody match was a pretty good buffer. The opener, I didn't really get into the whole show until probably the second match. But all of the wrestling, the last 4 matches, can't leave your eyes off of. Eyes are glued to the TV the whole time, and I love the quickness between matches.
They just roll right into the next one.
They just roll right into the next one. And
no backstage segments. Only 2 promo packages on this show.
Yeah,
for 2 matches.
For the 2 biggest matches.
No breaks.
And even though it was quite long, and I couldn't finish it all in one sitting, the second this time I watched it all, it's still phenomenal. Some of the best wrestling you'll see anywhere in a super big stage, super passionate fans, vocal, even though they're Japanese fans, like they still
Yeah,
get
the
up and
respectful,
cheer.
quiet at the beginning, and then when they get into something,
And
they
it
get
makes
real
things
into
so
it.
much more meaningful too. Like instead of just chanting "This is awesome" for every little thing, it's a landmark. And especially since it was the first real full New Japan show I'd actually watched, it means a lot more, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, one of the problems I had when coming up with this idea to review 2017 New Japan was that it can only go downhill from here, because this is quite possibly the greatest wrestling show of all time. We will only see worse wrestling shows from here on out.
I don't know.
Maybe they'll get better in the future. Maybe they're better than I remember. But this might be the greatest wrestling show of all time. There are a few things. I'll get the bad out of the way right now. Not that these are necessarily bad. It's just these are the things that would improve the show to change. The opener, I think, it's a promotion, so you're going to do it. But if you cut that, I think it would make the show an easier watch, despite it being Ibushi and ACH, who are great. And it wasn't, insulting or anything. It was just pointless. The gauntlet match, it accomplishes its task of getting everyone on the show, but it's kind of a time waster. Take that off. Juice and Cody was okay, but it really didn't. It was really outshined by pretty much everything else on the show. But aside from those 3 matches, everything else here was top tier. Like I said, I don't think you'll ever find a greater sequence of 4 matches in a row than we had tonight. The tag team 3-way with all the cursing was hilarious.
We needed something like that in the show. Come on.
Yeah,
we needed a Toru
you needed
Yano.
some sort of in a show that's 5 hours long. You need a comedy breather in there, and maybe that's actually why they did it. Thinking about it, I thought it might just be that they just are the people who curse a lot, but they might have actually just done that to put a little humor into a show where people needed a break. So yeah, possibly the greatest match of all time. And 3 matches that would have been match of the year contenders had they not been on this show.
Yep.
So,
or in 2017.
7 thumbs up. Yeah.
Why couldn't you just said 6? I mean, it's 6 thumbs up.
No, 7. You need that extra thumb, man. All right, so that brings us to the end of the show. But Justin, you got time for a quick rundown on what happened at the next night's New Year's Dash?
I mean, you forced me to do the podcast, so I guess I might as well stay till the end.
Oh, well. So, what is New Year's Dash? It's basically like WWE's Raw after WrestleMania, where a lot of new storylines are set up. You'll get some debuts and returns, some shocking moments, maybe. It's basically just, it sets the pace for the next year of New Japan. It's usually a pretty entertaining show. So to open it up, we got Ricochet, O'Reilly, and Finlay. They defeated Jushin Liger, Tiger Mask, and Hinare. Finlay pinned Hinare, who is a young lion. Yujiro and Hangman Page defeated Billy Gunn and Yoshitatsu. Page pinned Yoshitatsu. Thanks for coming, Yoshi.
No, stay.
And Yoshihashi, Beretta, and Romero defeated Cole and Matt and Nick Jackson. And Yoshihashi pinned Adam Cole. And that'll lead to a Ring of Honor title match at one of the Honor Rising shows that we might be covering sometime in the future. Yoshihashi will challenge Adam Cole, baby. We got Scott Norton, Hiroshi Tenzan, and Satoshi Kojima, Hiro Saito, and Cheeseburger. They defeated Kenny Omega, Bad Luck Fale, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Bone Soldier.
I wonder who took the pin in that match.
Gee, I wonder. This is the
know.
match where everyone kept calling Bone Soldier Boner. Like Kenny would go, "Come on, Boner, let's go, Boner." I love that. He wouldn't last much longer, Bone Soldier.
Glad we have a new Bone Soldier.
So yeah, Kojima pinned Bone Soldier. Michael Elgin and Kushida defeated Naito and Takahashi. Elgin pinned Naito. Lots of things are set up here. Elgin pinned Naito, so he gets his shot at the Intercontinental title, which is a thing in New Japan. If you pin a champion in any capacity, singles match, tag match, whatever, you are almost certainly entitled to a title match. So Elgin pinned Naito. The finish was set up with Dragon Lee interference. Hiromu Takahashi's old nemesis from CMLL showed up and interfered and cost Takahashi's team the match. So Hiromu and Lee, that sets up them. They'll have a title match in the next month. So yeah, we got an IC title match and a junior title match set up all in one match. Nice job. Dragon Lee's so awesome. He's so underrated. So I'm glad we get to see more of him.
People don't see him enough.
Yeah, not well known enough. Yeah. Next match we had Katsuyori Shibata, Juice Robinson, Tomoaki Honma, Togi Makabe, and Yuji Nagata defeated Kazuchika Okada, Hiroki Goto, Toru Yano, Tomohiro Ishii, and Will Ospreay. So Juice Robinson pinned Goto. By doing that, Juice has earned himself a never title match. You see how they all the time they'll be doing this, where undercard guys score a quick pin on a champion and they earn a title match. So there you go, another never title match set up. But after this match is where the big news happens.
What's going on?
Well, wait a minute.
Wait a second. Whoa, wait a second. Look, my God. Hey, Lee Archer. David Jr. Desperado. Take him into the room. Suzuki gun. Suzuki gun. Onward. Panama. Taichi.
Out of nowhere, Suzuki-gun returns to New Japan, runs in after the match, and beats down Chaos. The other team had left and gone backstage at this point. So they beat down Okada, Goto, Yano, Ishii, and Ospreay. We get Suzuki and his faction, Lance Archer, my boy, Lance, Davey Boy Smith Jr., El Desperado, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, who else?
Taichi?
Yes, our Lord and Savior Taichi returns to New Japan. We'll see more of him in the future. Suzuki takes the mic. He calls out Okada. He says he's come back to New Japan to reclaim his crown, and he's going to take the title from Okada because
Suzuki is
Suzuki gun number one.
And in our main event, we had the never six-man titles on the line, and Nakanishi, Tanahashi, and Taguchi defeated Evil Sanada and Bushi. Nakanishi pinned Bushi to become the new never six-man champs. You see how much they hot potato these titles. Literally the next night, they've already lost
I think
them.
you mentioned that earlier, and I was like, that probably won't happen, but it did.
But it's a nice big moment for the fans in attendance to have a title switch, and a nice moment for Tanahashi after suffering a crushing loss last night. All right, and that covers New Year's Dash, so I think we're going to wrap it up here. Thanks that was a long one. I've got 2 hours and 40 minutes on recording here, so it's a long one. This is going to take a while to chop up. So yeah, thanks for joining us here. None of you.
If anyone did. If I even watch it, which I won't.
Probably won't.
Won't listen back. Because I'm just here to have fun, which I did. I had fun talking wrestling with my bro, which is all I can ask for.
So yeah, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down there. Any suggestions on how to improve the show would be welcome.
If you could hear me.
Any suggestions on what to do after we finish 2017 New Japan would be nice. If we continue more with that, or we go to a new promotion, or anything else.
Or
we're open to that.
Whatever we want.
So you can let us know in the comment section. I don't know if we'll be on Twitter or anything like that. Maybe. We're not on Twitter. Maybe the podcast will have a Twitter. I don't know. We'll see what it goes. For now, the best way to reach us would be either through the email attached to this account or through the comment section here to let your voice be heard on anything you want to suggest. So, thank you for sitting through this tremendously long podcast and our first attempt on podcasting. We'd like to apologize if this is shit because we're first-time podcasters.
I'm not going to apologize for nothing. I told you from the beginning, I'm only here, 1, because you roped me into this, 2, because I wanted to have some fun, and 3, I don't have a third one. I'm not Okada. So, I had fun, and I don't care if anyone watches. So,
Well,
I'm becoming the heel of the podcast. I don't care about you. I'm only in this for myself to have fun. I don't know if that's a heel thing to do, but that's what I'm doing.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us. If there is a next time, we will see you then. Bye.
See ya.